Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the 71st Hour podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie, joined by, as always, Ben and Nathan. How you guys doing?
So pretty
Pretty
good.
good. Pretty
Dude,
good.
this
Yeah.
week has been, oh God, it's been such a long week. Both a long and short week for me, where
Really?
I worked 10 hours on Wednesday.
10 hours. Holy shit.
Because so it was really stupid. We had a bunch of employees from Sydney and Melbourne come up for this like event or whatever.
Mhm.
And it was basically a workshop that went for like 4 hours in the middle of the day, and then there was like an after work event for networking, and I was like, "Yo, I'm including
I'm
this
done.
in my
Yeah.
hours. Like this counts. Like these
Yeah.
extra 2 hours at night. I'm on the clock right now." But yeah, ended up being a 10-hour work day.
Jesus
Yeah, it was rough.
Christ.
It was
Fucking workshop, dude.
Yeah, dude.
yeah, I know. I was so it was like, oh,
Love workshops.
reflect on the past year.
Oh
It's like,
Yeah, but
hell
still.
no.
okay, let me reflect
Get
this.
out.
No, but no, it was actually pretty good, but it was just a long day. That's all.
Was it like a social workshop or was it actually like
No, it was more like it was the end point of like it was for a bunch of like year anniversary
yeah.
employees.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it was like reflecting on the last year and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
was fine, but yeah, it was just a long day. We're getting
Human
up at
resources
6,
departments need to not exist. That's all I have to say.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, that was my week in the middle of the
Jesus.
week, and then Thursday in the office again. Yeah, now
Oh,
we're
you had to immediately go back into the office, dude. That sucks.
yeah, went back
That
in the next
sucks.
day. Yeah, it was,
Oh,
so I
that's
got
not
home
fun
at
at all.
9 on Wednesday night, and then had to get up at 6 on Thursday
Jesus
to start to
Christ.
go back again. Yeah, so it's been a
Jesus.
bit of a messed week for my schedule, which is why I haven't
That's
streamed this week
yeah.
because
Good fun.
I've just been in a perpetual cycle of exhaustion. So,
Yeah. Jesus, that
but I
sucks.
hope you guys had a better week than I did.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
Yeah,
every week for me is chilling. I gotta
yeah.
tell
There
you.
you go. There you go.
This week I had to do goddamn 3 assignments for uni back to back to back because I
Hoggins.
was behind on all of them. So I did one the night before. I just got up on energy drinks. I did the one the night beforehand. The next day I realized shit, I had one due in 2 days. So I had to do that one. And then I finished one off yesterday as well that I had to do. And it's just it's just
Not a
after
100-word essay.
yeah. No, it's just
Oh,
I
yeah,
hate
no,
it.
I
It's not
can.
annoying.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, essay sucks.
Is it your own fault because you left them to stack up, or was it like?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
straight up. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like
It always
wasn't.
is.
Because
It
I've done
is,
that
yeah.
too, where I've been like, "Oh, dude, they give me all these assignments, all back to back to back." I'm like, "Well, if I had started this when I got it,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I would have been able to like evenly
But
disperse the
the
workload."
the
But
issue when you start, you're like, it's due in a month. It's fine. Like I got
exactly, you
time.
look at this, oh, it's so far away, and then you
Yeah,
get
and
another assignment. It's like, oh, that's due the next day, and then,
mm,
oh, that's due the same day, but in the morning. So I've
mhm,
got 2 assignments one day, one the next day.
mhm.
Probably should start on these.
Yeah,
And
and
then
yeah, it
naturally, it
gets
was
bad.
like a week before, and I'm like, "Okay, just kinda grinding this out now.
Yeah,
Let's do it." Yeah.
exactly.
I think
But
that's everyone, though, to be honest. I feel like everyone is like that.
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I
I'm sure
don't.
there are a bunch of, like, fucking bookworms that are
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I can't wait to get started on this assignment. I'm
Fucking
very
nerd.
excited.
Yeah,
I don't drink
I
alcohol." It's
yeah.
not that bad.
Like in my sister's like that where she like dates everything out and
Second.
does like that,
Yeah.
yeah. And then my oldest sister, she is notorious for literally just doing the assignment the night beforehand. That's all she does. She doesn't worry
Yeah.
about it beforehand. She always does the night beforehand, and
I
I
get
can
way too
follow her
stressed.
path.
I can't do that. I can't do the
Yeah,
night before.
yeah. It's just it's something else. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people do. But hey, as long as the assignment gets in, I'm happy. I don't give a shit.
As long as it's in before, what is it, usually, like, midnight?
Yeah,
Twelve oh
midnight.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I saw someone post on Reddit where they were like, they submitted their assignment like 15 minutes early before the deadline,
Mhm.
and they still got a 0 because the professor was like, "Oh, well, it was just like so close to being late." It's like,
So
We have
close
these
to
it's
being.
black and
literally,
white times for a reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They were like,
Exactly.
"Oh, just because of your work ethic and how quickly how close to the deadline it was, like I just gave you a 0." It's like,
That's
that's
okay.
not how that works.
Yeah, he just has to repeat it. He's fine. That's I
Yeah,
hate
and
that.
I think he got that sorted, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's
Oh,
good.
I
for
didn't
sure.
see the update
There's
on
no way
that.
that
But
Yeah,
that was
he
100%.
great. I was
does.
like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck, dude?" I would have been so pissed.
That would have been so annoying.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, but yeah.
Anyway, video games,
Video
video
games,
games, they're a
yeah.
thing. This has actually been a
Yeah.
pretty interesting week, I'd say.
Mhm.
Do we
It's
want to start with a memorial
yeah, a
for
memorial of
for our once leader of gaming events, E3 is dead, dead and
Yeah,
gone.
you know,
It's funny because
I
like
I think we saw it coming.
as the week progressed, I mean, yeah, we definitely saw it coming.
Yeah.
As the week progressed, I would add like more articles about people dropping out and rumors about E3 getting cancelled. And then finally yesterday, it was like, okay, they released the statement. It's done. So do you want to hear what they said? What the statement was?
Wait, what's the statement?
The statement was, this was a difficult decision because of all the effort we and our partners put toward making this event happen. But we had to do what's right for the industry and what's right for E3. We appreciate and understand that interested companies wouldn't have playable demos ready, and that resourcing challenges made being at E3 this summer an obstacle that they couldn't overcome. For those who did commit to E3 2023, we're sorry we can't pull out. We're sorry we can't pull on the we're sorry we can't, sorry we can't pull out. We're sorry we can't put on the showcase you deserve and that you've come to expect from ReedPop's event experiences. So yeah, E3 is not happening this year.
Sorry, we
First
can't
question.
pull out. Holy.
Holy dude.
Do we actually think E3 will be back at some point? Like next year, do you expect there to be an E3 2024?
No, I think this is the end of times.
Yeah, here's the issue is that I think a lot of developers, like a lot of publishers, are being like, we can just do this ourselves now. Like,
exactly.
That's what they're thinking. They're just like, we can just do this ourselves. So they're not going to.
As I said just before, like to get booth space at E3, it was like close to $50,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
It was thousands and thousands of dollars just for a spot. And I do think there was a report this year that apparently the booth space was cheaper than ever. But at this point, it's too late. And like, you know, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo had already said when E3 got announced for this year, they were like, "Oh no, we're not doing it. We're not doing that." And E3 was like, "We're trying to get partners to, you know, to commit to this." But at that point, when they announced E3, there was nothing. Yeah, the three biggest had already been like, "Nah, it's not happening," because they've already, you know, it's a snowball effect, right? Where there's been a couple years where these three big companies have just been doing their own stuff. You know, Nintendo does their Nintendo Directs, Sony does State of Play, Microsoft does showcases. They sort of change their branding a lot of the time with their events, but they realize that it's just cheaper.
It makes it not worth it for indie devs to go because there's no eyes on from the big developers anymore.
Absolutely. I will say I am gonna miss Devolver Digital setting up in the E3 car park every year. And that's where they would literally just like, they didn't buy any booth space. They would fucking rent out the car park and set up there because it was cheaper. And that is, oh dude, I love it.
It's really legit.
Yeah. It's really
and then Devolver would do their E3 showcases where they would do like the crazy, like the E3 the presenter would like fucking start like gurgling blood or some shit. Have you seen these events? Yeah, it was so always weird. So ridiculous and crazy. Like it was a full on like scripted event kind of thing.
That's really
with
cool.
like actual actors and
that's really cool.
And then inject some gameplay here and there, but it was really just like an event to see what they would come up with. But that's still gonna happen. Like this is sort of just the end of E3 in name, but not in sort of like, you know, in sort of like the events, you know, like it's still gonna happen. Like
the spirit behind it is, and the timing is still there. It's just they're all doing their own separate shit.
Exactly.
Like for reference, these are the people who have events scheduled in already. So like on June 11th, Xbox and Bethesda are having a showcase. They're also having the Starfield Direct on June 11th. June 12th, Ubisoft is having their Ubisoft Forward. And then there's a rumor that PlayStation is going to have a showcase just before Summer Games Fest, which is also another E3-like event that happens. It's by the same people that do the Game Awards, but they do and they do Gamescom as well. So it's not, you know, there is still stuff happening in June. They're still sort of bundled together, but just not in like
it's not in the under the one
rapid succession, I guess, that you kind of expect from E3, where it was just like the first 3 days of E3 were just press conferences.
Yeah, which does kind of suck because E3 was like an event. You know, every time you saw E3,
Ben, did you ever watch E3? Like, were you avid watcher
by
of
the
E3? Because
end of
I don't think we've ever
E3,
spoken about it.
by the end of E3, like I watched the last couple of years before it kind of went really downhill. Like the biggest one that I watched was like 2015, 2016, like
Mm,
kind of that one. That's kind
yeah.
of like the where I kind of started watching them. But then as soon as like people started to pull out and Xbox started doing one thing and so was Sony, I just kind of stopped watching. I came in right in like the dying end, the
Let's just
last
say,
breath of
yeah, just it
E3.
was
Yeah.
all coming to a close. I think
Yeah.
Sony stopped going to E3 in 2008,
Yeah.
2017, I want to
Yeah. I'm pretty
say.
sure it was 2017. I'm pretty
And
positive.
Nintendo was pretty actually Nintendo had a booth at E3 up until the end, I think.
Are they really? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because I remember they would have like I remember the year they kind of showed off Breath of the Wild and they had like the booth was awesome. It was like this massive like Breath of the Wild like landscape
Sick.
where people could play the game. So Nintendo did go all out with E3.
Mhm,
And then they just
mhm.
realized this is not
Not
worth
worth
it.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
really worth it at all. And then E3 became like this consumer show where you could buy
Mhm,
tickets, and
mhm,
that meant that games journos who were trying to like preview games are being late to appointments because people are stopping them to get
mhm.
to talk to them or whatever. It just
It's
became
embarrassing.
this sort of amalgamation of two different things where it's like you get the corporate kind of side of it where it's for networking and for business, and then you've got like the consumer part of it
Mm,
where it's people who want to demo games, but the demo lines are like 4 hours long, and it's like
mhm.
it really
It
ended
became a
up
mess.
becoming not a great experience for both sides.
Mm,
Um, and then companies realized it just doesn't make sense. As you said, it's the cost, it's the fact that you're kind of sharing the news cycle with other
mm,
people. I
mhm,
think you'd prefer to be separated so that you can have that moment where
mhm.
like in the past when Microsoft would have their press conference in the morning and then Sony would have it in the afternoon, like they were both kind of fighting over like the front of IGN or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas now they can be like, okay, Sony's on Tuesday, Microsoft's on Monday, and
Mhm.
then they're sort of separated,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
just works out better for everyone involved, and
Mhm.
it's a lot less like conjoined, I guess.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
Did
it's,
they have that many indie devs at E3?
Yeah, so there
I
were
think that's the only
more.
downside to it.
Yeah,
Makes them need to
so
partner up with someone bigger.
that is true. I mean, Devolver always had an E3 thing.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like they're a publisher that publishes indies. There were a couple of indie-centric shows that would happen around June. Like I know, like there was in the last couple of years, there's been like the Wholesome Games Direct, where they would show a bunch of cool, like kind of wholesome indie games. So there are sort of events like that, but they're not as obviously well known. They don't get publicized as much, but people do have eyes on them. So I still think those are going to continue without
yeah.
E3. And obviously you'll see Sony and Microsoft partner up with indie devs to show their games, in their press conferences. So I don't think
mm.
I think it'll be fine. And also, you've obviously got Steam with the Steam Next Fest now. That's a whole
Oh,
thing where they kind of
true.
push indie games on the front page of Steam. So I think there's a lot of avenues. Obviously, I think discoverability for indie games is always going to be kind of a pressure point for the
Mm,
industry where so many games, there's so many games coming out now that stuff slips through the cracks and,
yeah.
it's kind of impossible to keep up with everything. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I am a little sad about it because I do remember fondly, getting up at like 3 in the morning to watch Microsoft
Yeah.
fucking bomb with the Xbox One. Oh my god, dude.
Mm.
I remember waking up in the morning for when they revealed the Xbox One
Sports.
and just watching that and being like, I think I hated that. Like, I think that wasn't good at all.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Um,
No, I was coping. I was like, "Dude, it's gonna be better. It's good. It's fine. It's fine." I was
yeah, it
coping
was
hard
just
when I saw it.
god damn, dude. But there's been so many funny like E3 moments.
Oh, yeah.
Like you
Oh,
had
yeah.
that Ubisoft presenter that one year where it was like the dude was hopped up on caffeine and he was like way too into it and he was
Yeah.
just fucking nutso.
Oh, that's
And
really
luckily
funny.
he did not
Oh,
present ever again.
where did Moon Man come in? Was that E3?
Moon Man,
That was Square
I
Enix
think that was a
something.
Square Enix
Oh,
Yeah,
was
conference.
that it?
Yeah, the Moon Man.
Oh.
fucking Moon Man.
Dude, and even last year it was fucking Embracer Group who published like Deep Silver's games. They had
Oh no.
Oh,
Did he
no.
die?
I thought that was me.
hello?
Yeah,
Why
he's
does
back.
it keep
Back.
doing this? But
His
my
face
camera
is
is
still
fucking
frozen.
completely frozen, man.
He's back. He's
Am I
back.
back?
Just frame me.
Bro, I don't
Yeah,
man,
you
this fucking it's gotta be the cable, dude. It's gotta be the cable,
That's really
Something.
funny. That's just every time you
Um,
got like shit, my internet died. Like every single time.
yeah. So I was saying, yeah, Embracer Group had a conference last year that was so bad. It was
Mhm.
so awful. So it's funny for like the wins and the fails, I think.
Mm.
Um, but that's not like going away, you
Yeah.
know?
It's kind of just the end of an era, you know. It's kind of end of like this kind of like big conference that kind of come together. Everyone's kind of splitting off to do their own thing. It's kind of the end of that, which is that's what I think was kind of sad. It's
For
what people
sure.
kind of grew up with. It's what people
Yeah,
grew
like
up with.
I knew about E3. Like I remember seeing my first E3. It was like 2009,
Yeah.
where I remember seeing like Uncharted 2 gameplay for the first time, and I was like, I need a PS3.
Mhm.
So it was a good way to discover new things, I guess, and it was like a sort of like a rallying of the entire industry, and people got
Yeah.
excited for it, and then you had like the streamer reactions, and it
Mhm.
was a cool time. But it's not, yeah, it's just going away basically in name, but it's still
Mhm.
gonna be around, just not for the ESA, I guess.
Yeah.
So
100%. 100%.
you know, it does suck, but as you said, the writing was on the wall
Yeah.
for a long time.
Mhm.
I think once COVID kind of canceled E3, it was almost like, oh, they're gonna try and recover from this, but I don't think it's gonna work because the publishers have kind of tasted the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like they've
Yeah.
already tasted what could be
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
E3, so you know they realize they don't need E3 at that point, and
Mhm.
yeah, it does suck, but rest in peace E3. Probably
Yeah.
not gonna see you
Exactly.
again.
Exactly.
And I guess long live digital events.
Mm.
You know, that's
Yeah. I
kind of
guess
how
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
happen.
go,
Yeah.
Viva
which
la
is fine
produced
for us
event.
because like nothing
Yeah,
changes from
it's
our
better for the
perspective.
consumer, I think, and like how long they have to watch shit and
Yeah.
how quality it actually is. I think it's better, but
True.
it
Yeah,
loses the charm.
when they were doing live press conferences, there were a lot of cringy moments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now that they get to produce it and it's like a proper like there's a production crew behind it,
Mm.
and there's sort of like you can do another take. It's not just like you're presenting for like and you have to get it right. It's just like you can, you know,
But we
you
still
can yeah, it's better that way, I
Nintendo
think.
had been
I
doing that for ages, but they still had shit
Exactly.
takes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, they
the last one with the robotic Pikachu, the last, do you guys remember like
oh my
literally the
yeah,
Pokemon
very
one.
the
last video
Pokemon
with
one.
the
That
Pokemon with
was
the robotic
terrifying.
Pikachu? Like that, yeah, that shit's weird. Yeah, there's still struggle a little
Can
bit,
you
but I
hear
can see.
sirens?
There's
No?
sirens?
Jesus, something's going on. Someone's
Dude,
escaped.
FBI, open up! Just like-
um, so yeah, I is that all we want to say about E3? You know, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
Rest
like
in
I don't
peace.
think I don't
rest
think
in
there's much to
peace.
say. It's sad, but
Expected
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. It definitely sucks. It really
Yeah,
does suck.
100%. 100%.
But we're sort of not losing a lot. I feel like
No.
the EA is losing the most. The company
Yeah.
that runs
Yeah.
E3 is definitely losing the most out of
Yep.
this.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so apart from E3 dying this
Mhm.
week, literally ending up in the ground, we did get some Zelda gameplay. Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I feel like out of the three of us, Nathan's probably the most excited for this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean I liked Breath of the Wild. It was a good game.
Yeah, I think you
I've
were the.
played
I
most other
mean,
Zelda games.
Ben, you play Breath of the Wild as well.
I have played Breath of the Wild. I am nearly done with it. So yeah, I can actually have a take in this as well.
Do
I
we
actually
want to
haven't,
switch over to gameplay?
yeah, I haven't actually. I'll switch over to gameplay now.
Is that not
There you
what's on
go.
your screen?
Eh,
No, it's
No, no, yeah,
Ben's running the gameplay.
Oh,
I'm running the
okay.
Actually,
gameplay
it
right
might
Sure.
be.
now.
Well, it might be laggy. I'm not sure. No, it's fine.
Here
Um,
we go. Okay.
yeah. So I feel like I've got a bit of a hot take on this,
Okay.
where I wasn't super blown away by the gameplay. Because obviously, you know, they're using the same map from Breath of the Wild, and they've obviously it's changed. I saw some comparisons of like apart from the Sky Islands, how the landscapes change, and like there's been some little stuff like you know those like relics. I can't remember what the spider bot kind of things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They've all disappeared from the lands.
Mhm.
Um, there's a few like lighting changes, but overall it looks pretty similar to how the original map looked. Obviously,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, and it just doesn't. I'm not sure if it's new enough for me. If there's enough new stuff to
It
get me
feels.
super excited for it.
It feels like a DLC to
I
me.
was about to say. I was about to say. Does it feel more like a DLC to you
Yeah,
guys? You get
Yeah,
them
I
to.
mean, I don't want to
which
discredit
isn't a
obviously
bad
the work
thing.
that they've done on it. Like, and it depends on what you know the Obviously, this is just more of like a gameplay mechanic showcase in a way, which I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that's maybe the best way to show it. I don't know. I think I just need a trailer similar to the one they showed at the Switch reveal, which was like maybe one of the best gaming trailers ever. And it got me super fucking hype, and I immediately pre-ordered a Switch because the trailer was so good and it just looked like a fantastic game. And this kind of showcase didn't completely sell me on like I mean I'm gonna get it. I'm just not like excited. Like I'm not counting down the days or anything.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, And I think it does depend on dungeons. I think that's the biggest thing that I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy the most about Breath of the Wild, and, like, if the dungeons can feel a little more substantial, a little more like classic Zelda,
Mhm.
I think I mean, this game's obviously gonna score well, it's gonna be critically acclaimed, it's probably gonna be game of the year, but, just from this one trailer, I wasn't, like, over the moon
Very keen about it.
excited.
Yeah.
Um, I will say just from, like, a mechanics perspective, like, these that you've got fuse where you can kind of fuse 2 objects together to make a weapon, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's gonna lead to a lot of different kind of, scenarios. And I know, Nathan, you said that it might lead to kinda different puzzle solving solutions.
Yeah, I think the abilities that they've given, like where you can is it I don't know if it's fused, the one where you can put objects together and like meld them together.
Fuse is the one where
It's
you
the
can
weapon
put
one, yeah.
sort of that's the weapon one, and then
Yeah.
you've got Master Hand,
Yeah, something like that. I think it's Master
which
Hand,
is
yeah.
to merge objects together to make kinda like
Yeah.
vehicles,
I
essentially.
can see with something like that that they'll be able to make more complex dungeons that have more complex puzzles that you kind of have to work out more yourself because a lot of
Mhm.
the dungeons you go into and it's just like you look at it and you go, I clearly know what I have to do here. So
Right.
they've made it really obvious, but I feel like with that there'll just be a bunch of like items in a room and you kind of have to figure out what you've got to do with those items with some of them. I
Yeah.
feel like puzzles like that will work really well. And obviously there's other the other abilities that you have are definitely I think they lend themselves to more complex puzzles rather than the ones from Breath of the Wild, where they were more simple. Some of them, obviously, you would
Definitely.
kind of look at and go, "I don't know what to do," but I think that it should be better,
For the
providing they
most
make them right.
Yeah. For the most part, a lot of the puzzles I think were pretty straightforward in Breath of the Wild,
Yeah,
and I think now they have an opportunity to kinda make it a little more challenging, but obviously, to a certain extent, like, it's a Zelda game, so it's not something that they want to, like, alienate a whole
yeah,
group of
yeah,
Yeah, they
people.
don't wanna, like, make it Dark Souls, you know what I mean? They don't
Yeah,
make it, like,
exactly.
really difficult.
But I think the cool thing about Fuse in particular is, like, I think it alleviates some of the concern I have for, like, the durability on weapons,
Mhm.
yes,
where
yep,
if my stuff breaks, it's like, okay, I can just grab, like, a stick and a rock and have something that's not completely dog
yeah,
shit,
not dog,
you
yeah,
know?
Mm.
Yeah, and I think that's and obviously there's cool gameplay scenarios like they show in the gameplay where you can have like a really long spear and you've got a ton of
I really
different
like that.
distance on
Yeah.
enemies, and
Yeah,
so it means that you can make the gameplay, I guess, easier if you want. Because for me, honestly, the combat in Zelda, apart from using the bow, never felt that great to me. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
it was pretty whatever. It was just sort
Yeah,
of
Hmm.
it's definitely not
time it
one of the
right.
more memorable parts of the game.
Yeah,
I think the thing that worries me the most is that I hope there's enough. Like I hope even though they're using the same map, there's still that sense of discovery.
yeah.
Because like
Um,
if I already know the landscape, am I gonna feel that kind of wonder that I did feel the first time around?
that was my worry because like, how many Sky Islands are there, and how
Yeah.
much time are you going to be spending on the ground, and like,
Mm.
yeah, how samey is the ground?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing I was worried about is like you start off on like let's say you start off on a sky island, but then you immediately are going to go to the floor, and then you're going to be just stuck on the floor for like 80% of the game, and then you finally go back to the sky island at the very end. That's what I'm worried to be something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's very rarely you're actually up there, and you're mainly on the floor on the same map again.
Yeah, that
I
is a
have
worry.
sort of I think that you'll spend a significant part in the Sky Islands just
Mm.
because they're putting so much emphasis on it. Like if you look at the cover art, for instance, Link is up on a Sky
Yeah,
Island.
true.
Mhm.
So I feel like that is
They do look pretty big.
yeah, and the fact that it seems like, they're obviously putting a lot of emphasis on that as the new thing in this game, obviously in the gameplay, like that's you spend I think Link spends basically the whole time on the Sky Island just because that's sort of the main attraction of the new game. And also I think they have sort of teased that underground under the map will play a role.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um because in the first trailer when they initially showed it was just called a sequel to Breath of the Wild, like, it didn't have a name yet. It was like Link and Zelda traversing kind of a cave-like area,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they found, like, dehydrated Ganon or whatever, and that was sort of the tease for the game. And so I think that might be where you see a lot of the discoverability, where you'll sort of be traversing the sky and underground, and then the middle, obviously the main landmass will be not that different from what you've seen before. It'll sort of be like the connected tissue between those two kind of traversal planes. Um, I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it. I think it's still gonna fucking kick
Oh,
ass. Like,
it'll
it's
be
gonna be
good
a
no matter
fantastic
what.
video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't
Mhm.
think there's any doubt that this is gonna
Even
be
if
up
it's just more Breath of the Wild, it's still good.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is still good.
exactly.
Right?
But I
Yeah.
do wonder, like, are we gonna see the same kind of like critical and commercial acclaim that Breath of the Wild had? If it is just sort of more of the same, like, will people have like insane expectations to the point where they're like, "Oh yeah, it's good. It's more Zelda. I enjoyed it," but it's not like this is the
Yeah,
greatest game of
I
all
think
time
that's
kind of
probably
talk.
pretty likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be like a
Maybe
God of
they'll
War
pull something
Ragnarok
out.
situation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I feel like Ragnarok was one of those where it was like, God of War 2018 was like, "Oh fuck, this game is awesome, incredible," and then
Mhm.
Ragnarok is like, "Oh yeah, it's more God of War
More of that.
2018, but with
Yeah.
new story and
Mhm.
some new gameplay opportunities, new areas."
Mhm.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that's what Tears of the Kingdom is gonna end up being.
And I would be okay with that because
It's not a bad
like
thing. I mean, the last one was
God
a
of
10 out of
No,
10,
it's
so
and
Yeah.
I don't think they need to necessarily, like, completely revolutionize it because they already did with Breath of the Wild, like,
Yeah.
that's your big step, now build on that.
Yeah, because the big thing is like from God of War to God of Ragnarok, they just improved quality of life things, right?
Mhm.
As some new mechanics, quality of life, and I would imagine this game would probably do something very similar, which is quality of life improvements. Because like, if it's not broken, if it's not got a problem, then why fix it? You know what I mean? Like, why change the formula if it's already a near perfect formula?
And they definitely saw a bunch of people do insane creations in Breath of the Wild, and they were like, "Let's make that a mechanic."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
totally, 'cause
exactly right.
yeah.
that's what people were already doing in Breath of the Wild, and now they've just made it a kind of an official thing,
Hmm.
and it's cool. Like, I think it's gonna it's kinda hard to see, kinda hard to guess, like, how important it will be to the overall, game, I guess.
Mm.
So from, like, an outside perspective, it's like, "Oh, yeah, this stuff's cool," but I need to see it in, like, action when it comes to, like, a dungeon,
Hmm.
um, and, like, proper story quests, I guess, and side
Yeah.
quests, like, maybe that, plays a role in a side quest or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
it has to, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
think, like,
100%,
otherwise, why would they
100%.
make it? Like, if it's
Yeah,
just, like it was just kinda like a cool side thing you can do to traverse differently, like, that seems, it
Oh,
seems like
it'll
it needs
definitely play in majorly, yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
absolutely. And yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool.
Yeah.
I'm tentatively excited. I'm not like over the moon about it, I guess.
Mm.
If
But
that's
it's gonna be good.
because
It's gonna be good.
I don't want to like get too hyped up and then it just ends up being like a really great game instead of
Yeah,
like a
a
life changing
phenomenal game.
experience.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
think that's
exactly.
probably pretty likely.
Yeah,
Mm.
It'll be a
it's
really
just
good game, but,
fine.
yeah, it's just good, yeah.
Which is like yeah, it's like yeah, it's funny because I feel like we sort of have these like as like a gaming community have these expectations like every single game needs to be this huge jump and leap
Yeah,
when realistically like some of my favorite games of all time aren't necessarily those games. They're the ones
yeah,
that are just like
100%.
building on
The
what's already
fundamentals.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
We're going to
Mhm.
talk about a game today etc that's just that it's building
Yeah,
on what we've already played before but it's just really
mhm.
fucking good.
Yeah,
um
exactly.
and I'm okay with that. Looks
Mhm.
gorgeous though. I mean, I will say it does.
Yeah. I was about to bring that up.
It needs some anti-aliasing.
I
Just
was
Yeah,
about to bring up this
this
would
thing
have
is
been the perfect time for a new Switch.
yeah,
yeah.
this game, yeah, you can definitely see the struggles it's having on the Switch, with aliasing, so I
Yeah,
think
I am
It
looking
doesn't have
forward to
any.
the next. Then yeah, I'm looking forward to
yeah.
the next Switch where Nintendo discovers anti-aliasing. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be an exciting
Maybe.
gameplay improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, they discovered it with what Mario Odyssey, and then they
True,
didn't, and then
true.
they lost the ability to do that because the Switch is very underpowered for these kind of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Matt,
Well,
you said Metroid Prime looked good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is it's an old game, so they probably can anti-alias the crap out of it.
Yeah.
mm.
Um,
I mean, and to
but
be fair,
this is
even
cutting edge. This for what it can do.
Oh,
The
yeah, this is
Switch.
like
Breath of the Wild, like, it still had some aliasing. It doesn't look like even when it first released, it didn't look like the art style lended itself to look
Yeah,
like okay, but it would obviously when you see like a 4K screenshot of like an emulated version of Breath of the Wild, it's like oh shit, this looks really really good.
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
But the Switch is obviously it's got to run as a handheld as well.
It's a
So
handheld. Yeah,
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 fingers crossed
exactly.
that a new Switch is coming soon because
that'd
Yeah.
be so good.
Dude,
I'd buy it
please.
in a heartbeat because
Yep.
I'd love to use my Switch more. It's just the
Struggles.
underpowered nature of it. It's like, like I don't want to run it on the TV because a lot of games look
Yeah.
bad on TV and
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the
um
720p is fine handheld, but yeah, I would just love for it to run. That doesn't even have to be native 4K, just like at least output at 4K and
yeah,
use some
exactly.
upscaler like every other console.
Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
And the thing with handheld that sucks a lot of the time is some games don't run at 60.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because I never understood why. Because like the dock doesn't have any hardware that I know
No.
of.
No.
It
But
just
for some
It just
reason,
charges.
well,
It-
it means the because it's not landing on the battery and it can
Mm,
draw more power from an AC outlet than it can from the
that makes
battery.
a lot. That makes a lot of point.
And
lot
because
of
they're not worried about using the battery juice, they can clock the CPU GPU higher. And yeah, that's how
Yeah,
it
okay.
gets more performance. Is it just simply clocks itself higher because it doesn't have to worry about power.
There you go. Omega Brain. That makes
Mm.
sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, any more thoughts on Zelda?
Not really.
No,
You
Not
guys
really.
excited?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, it's the same situation for me as with God of War Ragnarok, where like I am going into this knowing it's probably going to be a good game, but I'm not thinking it's going to be a game changer. That's it. It's the same thing as what I did when I went to God of War Ragnarok.
You think it's gonna be game of the year?
Uh, if it changes enough, yes. But here's the issue. Actually, you know what? Yeah,
I think it will
probably.
be.
Yeah, probably. Now I think
Regardless.
about it. Yeah. I think.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
there's
they
a,
get
there,
more.
I, here's the thing though. There's a lot of like potentially game-changing games coming out this year.
True.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've got Starfield.
Mm.
You know,
No, there's no
Bro.
way that gets game of the year.
Bro, dude, Dead Island 2?
Oh, yeah,
imagine
true.
though. Imagine you got Spider-Man 2.
True.
You know,
Suicide Squad?
no,
Okay.
I don't know about that one. Not sure that's even coming out this
Take
year.
this seriously now.
You've got Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, dude.
Oh, no, probably not. Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, it probably is gonna be Zelda now that I think about it.
Yeah,
Listing these
100%.
games off.
100%.
Speaking of games that are probably not releasing this year, let's talk about Dark and Darker. The drama that is
Drama.
that has taken over this game. This is so odd, dude. So
This is a
essentially,
weird situation.
the developer Iron Mace was served a cease and desist letter and subsequent DMCA takedown from their original employer, which was what was it? Nexon, right?
Next.
Nexon
Yeah.
was a I guess because they think that Nexon thinks that these developers
This is
stole.
great gameplay, by the way.
Yeah, it's just completely
we
there.
go.
Well, I mean, it lives up to the name. It really
Yeah,
does.
it's
Dark.
dark. It's dark and
It's
darker.
fucking black. They should rename it, and then maybe they won't get a DMCA takedown.
Yeah.
It's
just...
Yeah, so I guess Nexon thinks that these developers like stole source code, or I mean, I don't even think it was source code. I think in like a subsequent statement,
Yeah.
Nexon was like, we've noticed that this dungeon crawling game has torches and it's medieval. So it's not even like source code. It's literally just like the idea,
It just
which
Strange.
okay.
does not at all mean it deserves a DMCA takedown or a cease and desist because it's not. They didn't steal anything.
I thought they had evidence on them for no, they don't. They just
Apparently
like, oh,
not.
it looks
Apparently
like
it was like. Apparently it was just. I can't find the statement when they made that, where they were just listing off random gameplay mechanics in this game that so many other games have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one of them was literally, it has torches on walls.
Bro, hello? Every other
Bruh.
game ever?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is probably going to end up being like a nothing kind of drama thing. It's just
Mhm.
like a Nexon sort of protecting their IP, I guess, even though it's not
Yeah.
theirs at all. And
Mhm.
they maybe suspected that these developers stole stuff, but I don't think it's going to end up being.
Anything.
They just
I
got
think-
to it quicker, do you reckon? And
Yeah.
they're pissed off about it.
I think that's all it is. It's like
Yeah.
they're mad that they're not getting to market first.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
True.
Because basically the devs just said, this is what they said on Reddit. They said, we're currently working with our legal team to remedy this issue in the best possible manner. Due to the sensitive legal nature of this issue, we must be careful with our statements so as to not jeopardize our position. We ask for you to understand as we work to get the game back up as quickly as possible. Please know that we will do all that is possible for our fans. Thanks. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be okay. But at the beginning, I was like, "Oh shit, dude, these devs are fucking stupid, man."
Yeah.
But it turns out maybe Nexon's stupid. Maybe they're the
maybe
stupid ones.
Nexon
Or
is
maybe
the
they're a little
stupid.
butthurt
Yeah.
that they didn't jump on this idea quicker. Because
Bro,
apparently
this is
the
doing
whole
nothing but bringing more attention to the game.
Yeah, that's the
100%,
issue,
totally.
right? Yeah, as soon as this game comes back, right? As soon as it does,
Yeah.
it's gonna blow up so much bigger than it would have beforehand because of this.
People have heard of it for the first time and they'll be like, "Oh shit, I want to play that."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so apparently the background on this is that these developers were working on a game similar to Dark and Darker and Nexon,
Mhm.
and then the game got cancelled. So they
Right.
left, and then decided, hey, we're gonna keep working on that idea, and this is the game that spawned from that. And now
Okay.
next one's like, hey, hold on a second, this is
You
getting
can't say
traction. We can't allow this. Yeah, it's just big
that's
company
dumb.
being dumb big company. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's
I don't
really
know. I
stupid.
will say separate from this, I'm actually looking forward to Dark and Darker because
Yeah.
when Shadow and I played it, had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks fun.
It does look very scuffy on the surface, but it sort of takes a little bit to get used to the gameplay. But once you do, it felt really good. Felt really good to
Yeah.
play and
I did.
really
Shadow did
tense.
say a lot of good things about it. So
'Cause I like
Yeah,
the
it's
Tarkov mechanic, but it looks more like
basic.
not well, yeah, more basic, obviously, but
Yeah.
not as
it's not
harsh when
as
you
it's definitely
die.
not
Yeah.
as harsh.
Yeah,
You don't it's not possible, at least in the beta, to lose all your equipment and have nothing.
yeah,
Mhm.
You always start with kind of a standard kit, and you can
that's
even
good.
just like continue to use that standard kit and not. You can just like stockpile gear you get, and then sell it, and then just keep going from there. So
Mhm.
it definitely seems a lot more lenient. I think a lot of the difficulty and the stress comes from there's these dungeons called like the wager dungeons,
Oh yeah.
or where you have to put in 100 gold to enter, but they
Mhm.
have better gear and there's different bosses to fight. So I think that'll be where the majority of like the sweat fest kind of ends up. But you can just
Mhm.
casually play like the dungeons and
Yeah.
yeah, the standard dungeon. It was fun though. I'm excited to play. I think it's going into early access at the end of this year, so I'm
Oh, very good.
excited to
Okay.
see how it ends up.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Very
so that's
good.
Dark and
Okay.
Darko.
Yeah.
Very strange situation. I don't think I've ever
Very.
kind of seen a situation like this, except
No,
for what was that? Not The First of Us. What's that zombie game that
Oh.
got taken down from Steam?
what's
Uh.
it called?
Oh my god.
Our
Yeah,
Uh.
something like that.
zombie game scam. Hold on, here we go.
Yeah. Just
I'll
look it
find
up.
it.
It's like
Day
hope. It's like
before, the day
day
Yeah,
before.
before. That's right. Yeah.
Putting in the search term zombie game scam, it came up as the first result. There you
Immediately.
go.
I love it. I love it.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
so yeah, day before, which
Okay.
also got taken down from Steam. Different issue. They didn't copyright the name.
That's so dumb.
Oh my god.
Wait, is
Next
that
level.
literally the only reason it went down? Because they did.
That's the reason they gave. I don't believe it for a
It
second.
I don't.
seems
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
suspect
think
at
the game
best.
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very dumb. That's
Speaking
very
of
dumb.
weird situations, let's talk about multiverses. Uh, so this is very weird. When I saw this on my Twitter feed, I was like so confused. Essentially, uh, Multiverses put out a video where they announced that essentially the game is shutting down on June 25th. Not permanently, they say. It's shut the open beta, which I didn't even know it was in beta. Did you guys know it was in beta?
I
No,
thought it
I
was.
thought this
I
was
thought it was
it.
out. I thought it
Or
was
that it
out.
was just like early access and it was eventually gonna like continue to be worked on until release. No, apparently it was in beta phase where you could spend money on skins and there
Did
were
they ever
seasonal
say
battle
that?
passes.
Did
And
they ever say that?
I think it's like the Mandela effect where we've been
Yeah,
led to believe that this is how it was, but it was actually this. Like I
I
don't
don't
know.
think it
I
should
don't
be
know.
legal to charge
No,
money for an
a beta.
open for thing,
No,
even
but I
though
guess
it's not.
like
You know what I'm saying.
I think it's the fact that it's disappearing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Is
it's
like
mostly
I
that.
yeah.
think
Yeah,
open beta. It's also weird that you could spend money in the open beta anyway, because I don't think
yeah,
I've ever seen a beta where you could like, or a beta that
100%.
went for this long. You
Mm.
know, like it went for
If they'd have
when did it
called it
come
an
out? Like,
early access, it would be okay, I think. But
yeah,
yeah, a beta is different.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know it was a beta. Like, I thought it
Yeah,
just released as like a before 1.0 thing, like early
yeah, yeah,
access, and then they
yeah.
were gonna keep working on it, and then eventually it was gonna reach 1.0 and it would be out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But
just transition.
I
But
guess
this is
instead it's
different.
closing on June 25th as they prepare for a full launch in early 2024. So if you spend money in this
6
game,
months at least.
you cannot play it online. So you can play offline.
Oh, okay.
You can play offline co-op. You can't have your own like servers, so you can't play like so for Steam
Oh,
you would have to invite people over to play the game.
so you
You
can't peer to
can't
peer.
yeah, you can't peer to
I'm gonna
peer.
find a way around it, but
I'm sure they will.
natively you can't.
This is such a weird situation. It's so odd to me. And I like the game had essentially died where, I think there was a tweet I saw a month or so ago where it was like Multiverse at the beginning was like at 200,000 players and now it's like below 10,000. Like it's lost a
Jesus.
ton of people because
Jeez.
it wasn't getting any support. I'm
Mm.
actually having a look at the Q&A to see if there's any other information there, but essentially, yeah, if you played Multiversus and spent money, like for instance, on the $120 Founders Pack, you can't use those skins online. You can use them in offline, but
God.
You can look at them for 6 months where you play
you
by
can look at
yourself
them.
in
You
your
can
dungeon.
have a look. And it's being temporarily removed from digital storefronts. So like only people that have the game in their library at the moment will be able to play offline.
It's so
Oh my
weird.
God.
It
That's
is
so
so
weird.
odd. It is
I've
so
never seen a game
strange.
do this before.
No, this is really weird. This is really, really weird.
Why would they not keep this build of the game online for 6 months
I
while
don't
they
know.
just finish the game and then just the next day
And
take it
update it.
offline for 24 hours and
Okay,
it's
do
done?
you think this is going to come back?
Yeah, maybe that's
I
why,
hope.
right?
Do
Yeah.
you think this
I
game
hope.
actually releases in 2024, or do you think Warner Brothers is going to shut this fucking studio down in between there?
I think they're
Like-
probably going to. I feel like this feels very much like an Anthem situation. Like,
They
oh,
have to
we got
release
we got this in the future.
they?
Don't worry.
I
Legally,
think
do they have to?
if you've charged money for something in a beta, you have to have like released a final build of the game at some point. I'm not sure how
There
that
might
would
be some
work.
small print that's like.
Yeah.
Could be just.
I
some
just
small
think.
concern.
I honestly think that. Like I'm trying to think of scenarios why they would do this.
I don't think of
Because I'm
any.
like, are they trying to save server costs?
I
Are they
think
trying to like
It would be so negligible.
just
Yeah.
like close down the game to then hype up the launch?
Hmm.
Because I know sometimes when a game goes from like early access to 1.0, there's not a lot of fanfare because it's like, oh, it's like sort of always been around, so it's not.
Yeah.
You can't have like a hype gameplay reveal of like what the 1.0 looks like and have people be excited for it because they've already been playing it for like the last year. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
True.
Maybe that's why, but
6 months though.
it's
6
just
months.
it's so odd. It is
It's
such
really
an it's odd timing with everyone saying this game is dead.
Mhm.
I think there is a chance that this does not come back. Like
If they do bring it back, Walter White, bring it back with him. Easy. That's easy.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can save it now.
That's the only
Honestly,
thing that can save it.
if we get Walter White, the game's saved and it will get 1 million concurrent players. It'll actually beat CS:GO on Steam.
It'll be CS:GO right now.
I'd play
CS:GO
it
2,
if they
who knows that?
put in Walter.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
100%. I feel like
Walter
a
and
lot of
Jesse
people
do
would.
it. Like, just
Yeah.
please have the caravan or the RV be an it just runs across the screen. That'd be so no. No, it should be Walter White throwing. You know, in one of the early episodes where he throws the crystal and it blows up Tuco's fucking apartment. Yeah. No, they should just do that. He just it's him throwing it down.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, this is printed. This idea is printing money, dude. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we need to stop. We need to stop.
So yeah, that's Multiversus.
Yeah, that's something.
Very weird situation. I actually did miss another thing there. We want to talk about Lego 2K Drive. Do you guys see this?
Yeah,
I did
it's
not.
a interesting, like, it's like Lego races, but like Burnout Paradise Forza. It's kind of weird.
I gotta say, first impression, strange
gameplay.
name.
Yes, very strange game.
Name.
Yeah.
It actually does look fun from like a gameplay perspective. Like I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I
Like, you get to
really like the
transfer
idea
your
of building
cars.
your own cars. It's sick. I mean, other Lego games have done that, I think, but
But not like it
not like
reminds
this.
me of like a it's like a Forza Horizon, but with like a Lego coat on it.
Yeah, it's got like an open world section, and
Yeah.
it's basically the same formula. Yeah, but from
Totally.
what it looks
That's
like.
kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, look at that. It's making the
Krabby
bit.
Patty.
I thought the same thing. I thought it was like the Krabby Patty car from SpongeBob. But yeah, it actually looks pretty good.
This is cool. Yeah.
And it's coming out soon. I think it's
only a few months away.
May 19th.
Yeah.
So you can straight like build your own car?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, just with bricks.
Bro, ready for the giant penises? That's what
I was thinking that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is totally gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's gonna be so many tits and boobs.
Yeah, there's so many,
and
bro.
dicks. I meant to say tits and dicks, but I said
Just
tits and
driving
boobs.
naked women.
Yeah. Yeah, May 19th. Weird name though, because I know 2K's publishing it, but it's just you couldn't just call it Lego Races.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just tack on that name.
Yeah. That's weird.
Unless there's like a copyright thing, because
I don't know.
I think LucasArts published that game.
Yeah.
So it's like owned by Disney now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. It came out of nowhere, kind of like there was a rumor about this game, and then like the next day, it was announced.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It seems like a great Game Pass game.
It does.
Because I'm not sure if I necessarily would buy it, but I would like to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, look out if you. I mean, I know there's a bunch of people that are really big fans of Lego Racers.
Mhm.
I never played it because it was a PC game, and I was a child with
I
an
love
Mm.
Lego
Xbox.
Races, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
good.
really
You
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Man, look at you guys being fucking PC OG PC gamers over
Yeah.
here. So that's all the news for the week.
Yeah, that's what we got from there.
Lots of good stuff.
See you guys.
See you guys, fades to black.
And we're done. No, let's talk about what we've been playing. Oh,
Yeah,
there we
this
go. Yep, we're
there
fading to
there you go,
black.
goodbye,
Oh, there we go.
guys.
Oh, we're back. Oh, we're back. What have we been playing? What have you been playing? Who wants to start?
Okay, I think Jamie and I we're gonna have some meaty stuff to talk about. So I think we should start with Nathan, and then
Start
we
with
can
Nathan.
Meaty,
yeah,
bro. What do you got that's meaty in there?
Okay.
Oh, Resident.
yeah, Resident
Resident.
Evil.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Nathan, I want you to tell me about Terra Nil because I
Terra
have
Nil. I can tell you about
barely,
Terra Nil.
barely
I have
played.
barely touched this game.
It's a game where I mean, you obviously know the premise already,
Yeah,
but for anyone who hasn't
the
played it, it's
audience doesn't.
basically you are trying to restore like a post-apocalyptic, what is assumed to be like Earth or some other planet. The people or the species that lived there before you were there has completely destroyed it, and it's your job to restore it to this nice, luscious environment and bring it
Mhm.
back to what it's this former glory. They give you a bunch of tools to basically do it. You got to slowly remove the toxicity from the environment and make like biomes, and then find like animals within the biomes. And there's like a few challengey sort of things to do. Um, it's a lot shorter than I thought it would be, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Mhm.
So there's 4 areas, uh, and I think it took me 3.5 hours to finish it.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
And I
Okay.
wasn't like rushing or anything. I was just taking
Yeah,
my time with it. So that's like you play each area from one of the 4 regions,
sure.
and then after that you unlock a new area per region. But
Mhm.
like the first playthrough is like the end of like a quote unquote story. There's like a little finisher, and then there's credits, and um, I won't spoil it, but it's nothing really.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How
The second areas are a little more challenging, which is nice. I actually had to reset a few of them, like I
Like
was
the
saying to Jamie
remix
last night.
versions, right? The remix
Yeah,
versions.
yeah. They're
Yeah, yeah.
basic so it's the same like biome as the first area in the
Mhm.
region, but it'll be like I don't know, it'll be like this one's set in a crater, and like it being in a crater adds like a certain complexity to it that makes it more difficult.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah. No, but it's a really good game. I can definitely I've 100%ed it. It took me about 6 hours.
Mhm.
Um, I think I'll probably still go back to it here and there just to play it every now and again because I think by itself it's fun. But my only downside to it is that it isn't randomly generated. It seems like they
Mm,
have 3 or 4, maybe less, like actual generations per area,
sure.
and
Mhm.
that's so that you don't get soft locked by the looks of it. But
Mhm.
um, overall, I still really like it. I think it's a great game.
Mhm. I did. That was one of the biggest complaints I did hear was that it is very, very short in the game itself. I heard the game is very, very short. What difficulty do you play on? 'Cause I did see there was multiple difficulties.
Just
Because I did see,
normal.
yeah, just normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I did see that there were multiple difficulties to go through it. Do you know what like the hardest difficulty actually entails? Do you know what that actually
I think you just get
does?
less resources, and there's
Okay.
another thing
Yeah,
as
that's what it
well.
said in the it was just
Yeah.
less resources, and I think you couldn't the refunding works differently?
Yes, yeah, so you don't get as much back or something.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah,
there's a little bit more, like, strategy in terms of, like
for sure. Like,
yeah.
you gotta be careful, like, from the start, I think.
Mhm.
You've gotta be thinking about your whole refunding process rather than, like, because normally you just, like, play the game and, like, you think about it phase to phase, but I think when you play on the harder difficulty, you need to have been
Think
thought
ahead.
about every phase from the beginning.
Mhm. Mhm. Did so throughout the game, one thing that I did see other people talk about was that it is a little bit buggy at some points. Like apparently, it's like a book you can open. I heard that a lot of people were struggling to actually close the book. Like they'll press the X button and it
Mm.
just wouldn't shut. Did you not run into anything like that?
No?
You guys not
Yeah,
run into
I
Press
anything
haven't
like
had
that?
escape
that
and it
either.
closes.
Yeah.
I have heard so many people say that that book doesn't shut. They actually need to full on shut down the game and reopen it because
Weird.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm
yeah.
gonna say, like, in the so I played just under an hour,
Mhm.
the first biome, and, yeah, I haven't had any bugs at all with it.
Yeah.
I didn't run into
Um,
a bug at all.
There you go.
yeah,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I'm
Fair enough.
I'm enjoying it too.
Mm.
I think it's a game that I'm gonna take slowly, like, I don't feel the need to, like, rush it, I think. Like, I think I was saying, like, I might end up doing, like, 1 biome every couple days just
Mhm.
to, like, stretch it out a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's cool. It's definitely because I was sort of worried from when they did the demo how they were going to extend the gameplay into making it like a like an actual game and not just like a tutorialized demo and like a
Mhm.
and I think they've done a good job in terms of the strategy. Like it feels like I need to make choices kind of sort of semi smartly. Like you can't
Mm.
just like kind of
Yeah, you
put
can't
down
just
anything
smash it
wherever.
down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the
So
later
that's
regions,
been
I do like. They have like different puzzle. It's not just like all the same thing in different like skins. It's like the different regions actually have different things that you need to do differently.
right.
So it's not just all like the first
It's not just
area,
the
which is
same kind
nice.
of tools each time.
Yeah, you get different tools that do different things for different
That's cool.
regions. Yeah, it's quite good.
Nice.
Um,
Okay,
You
very
think you
good.
and obviously
recommend
the
it?
different regions introduce different like very different things that make you have to build differently as well.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, would you recommend this game? Would you
Yeah, for
recommend it?
sure. I think maybe not for the price that it is. I think maybe like $10 cheaper. It would be just about right. I think the
Is it
current price would be really good if it had solid replayability. But yeah, because it's not randomly generated, from what I could see at least, because I reloaded a map quite a few times and it just
Mhm.
kept giving me the same areas. Um, it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to have like that level of replayability.
I
Mhm.
definitely think it is possible that they do extend the gameplay sort of post-launch.
For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
100%.
Like, I think it's possible, like, if they get enough, like, support behind it and people are digging it enough that I could see, like, Devolver kinda greenlighting, um, content like, post-launch content for the game.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I think, yeah, there is the opportunity for maybe some kinda randomization there in terms of how it works, and maybe it'll be a little, like, a little buggy, but,
Yeah.
Mm.
Or if maybe they could open it to the Steam community or something and you can make
Mhm.
custom areas. That I think
Yeah, that
that
would be
would
really
probably
cool.
fix it. You would not need
Yeah.
Yeah.
randomization if you could do that actually. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. 100%. But
Yeah,
yeah,
cool. Another cool
very good.
indie game. Cool
Yeah.
idea,
Yeah,
executed really well, I'd say.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm liking what I'm playing so far, and I'm glad you liked it too, Nathan.
Gets the
So
NATO 62 stamp of
there
approval.
it is. Fucking
Very
stamp that
good.
in.
Everything
Put
you've
that
been waiting for.
in your little diary.
Alrighty. Do
Well, what
I
do you wanna talk about
feel
next? Do you wanna talk about
maybe
Diablo 4?
I was gonna say Diablo next probably the better idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Diablo is probably the better one because we actually all played
This is
Diablo.
a
Like
rare one where we can all talk about Diablo 4
exactly.
because I don't think
You'll get
we've
pushed out.
ever had a all of us have played a game and talked about
No,
it.
yeah, I don't think there
I
has
don't
been a
think so.
time where we have all played a game.
So
Like, this is the
obviously, I've
first
talked
time.
Not
about it
yet.
a lot last week,
Yeah.
so I think I'm gonna leave it to you guys to discuss what you thought
Um,
about Diablo 4.
it's okay.
It's okay. I was
Damn.
expecting that reaction from Nathan.
No, 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 no. Well, I've already
I
pre-ordered,
liked it.
so I've already pre-ordered. So,
You liked it, Nathan?
Yeah, no, I do like it. I just think
oh,
like I was saying, I think it's too easy.
Mhm,
But I do want to wait until the full game to see if it is just a beta thing
mhm.
or if it is actually the way that that game's supposed to be played.
So I
yeah.
will say I've done some research because I also thought that when we were in a group, it was very easy and sort of mindless. So differences between the beta and the full game. So in the beta, we had 25 skill points.
Mhm.
That's the equivalent to level 50 in the main game. So you get a
Yeah.
skill point every 2 levels in the main game. So you won't be leveling. So like we're doing level 25 content with level 50 characters.
Yeah, okay. So our like skills are
You won't be as powerful
overpowered.
doing that
Yeah.
content at that point.
Yeah.
And obviously you have the world tiers, so that's another thing. So obviously we were on world tier 2, it goes up to world tier 5.
Yeah, so we
Um,
can bump it if we want to.
you can bump it. I think they recommend world tier 3 for level 50 plus, but
Yep.
obviously if the game's really
If it's too
easy,
easy, just do it.
you can just bump it
Mm,
up and see how it
mhm.
goes.
Yeah.
And then you get better loot from that as you do the campaign. And there is so when you get to world tier 3, there are sort of these I think they call it the hellscape sort of activates. And so as you're traversing the world, there'll be more enemies to fight along the way, and there'll
Mhm.
be more different events that happen when you're on world tier 3 and above. So it'll make traversing a little more exciting. Because I did find that as well. I don't know if you guys did too, where getting from like mission to mission, it was sort of plain and like there weren't that many enemies. Sort
I
of
would run
Yes.
past a lot of them because I didn't see, like after a while it just kind of became a point of like no real need to fight them.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. So it looks like world tier 3 and above, traversing the open world will be a little bit more challenging,
That's
which is
that's
cool.
good.
cool.
I like that.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, when I actually came into this game, so preface, when I came into this game, I didn't want to play another game like Destiny or anything like this, right? Because I was like, I really don't want to get into like another game where I have to put another 100 hours into it, right?
mhm.
Um, Then I was like, okay, open beta. I might as well play it. I played Necromancer and I enjoyed it. I actually really did enjoy it. I thought it was very fun. But Necromancer in this beta
Bit too
was
easy.
very, very easy.
Very broken.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So then I flipped off and I went to play Barbarian instead, which is not that strong. It's actually probably one of the weaker classes. And then at that moment, I was like, shit, this is really fun. Like when I was actually going through and just kind of like actually not really just standing there pressing left click and blowing up corpses.
Mhm.
It actually was really fun. I actually really, really enjoyed the game. And yeah, as soon as we were all playing together, and I remember I did the thing where I used to do in Destiny where I was like, okay, no, one more dungeon, one more dungeon. Oh, you know what, one more dungeon.
Bro, it was like 2 in the morning, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just one
It's
more.
like, oh, we'll just
Yeah.
do one more. It's fine.
One
Just,
more.
I mean, what's it gonna hurt? Dude? It only took 20 minutes for that dungeon. It's like it took 40 minutes for the dungeon.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's straight up denial, bro.
I was in real denial, and I was really enjoying it. I was really, really enjoying it. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for the game actually
bro,
comes
as I
out. I'm
said,
pouring pre-order.
Diablo as just a concept is like digital crack. It
Oh
really like
yeah,
it's just you're just like, oh, I might as well just do another one. Like that
yeah,
didn't take as long as I thought it was going to.
yeah. It
But
was
yeah, Nathan, I'm curious what you thought of it because obviously I
100%.
think you were the most skeptical coming into this
I don't
of
think
all
I'd
of
like
us.
it if I was playing by myself, but
Right.
I'm
Mm,
liking the being able to, just like bounce off other people's characters and abilities
Hmm.
and kind of
mhm,
just like slay bosses.
Hmm.
But
mhm.
yeah, because I don't really like this sort of game.
Hmm.
It's more the multiplayer aspect of it that I think actually makes it, which is
Yeah.
Totally.
great. Yeah. I
Um.
think I'll probably get it if like you said, it is challenging because that was my only downside for me was that it was way too fucking easy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe that was because we had 2 people playing Necromancer for some of it, but
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I do think it got better when we switched
it was.
off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
was playing
100%.
Sorcerer
We
and
had some
Seto was
bosses
playing
that were actually
Barbarian.
difficult. Yeah,
Mhm,
Yes. Yeah,
mhm.
I was
I
and also especially the strongholds, they were fun. I
yeah,
really enjoyed the
Strongholds are
stronghold
really
they were good.
fun.
difficulty.
Strongholds
Yeah,
are really fun.
They had a lot of like in other games would be like typically annoying mechanics, but I kind of dug them.
Mm.
Like they've sort of got all
Bro,
the
the
things you kind of
butcher.
hate in games where it's like you got the
oh,
hellbinders
the
binding you to a position,
Hellbinders.
the
Mhm.
poison pools, you've got the enemy with the shield around him, so you have to get close, but he's a fucking tanky melee character.
You're right,
So
Mhm.
actually, it didn't feel
I
frustrating.
did
I
not feel
remember
frustrating for me either. Yeah.
I remember we were going through a dungeon and the butcher spawned in, and I think it was Nathan and
Dude, the
I
butcher was great, man.
I think Nathan, it
That
was
was a
me and
lot
you,
of
we ran in
fun.
and I whacked the butcher, did nothing, and he one shots me,
Yeah.
and then
Bro,
just
and
starts
when you because
sprinting
you
after
saw him
me.
first and I was like when you mentioned, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know what this is."
Yeah.
I knew exactly what it
Yeah.
was. So
But it was really cool.
I love
Yeah,
those
that
dynamic dungeon kind of
yeah.
events.
Yeah, that was really cool because like going through dungeons was pretty easy. Like get the boss was really the only difficult part, but going through it was pretty easy. But as soon as that butcher spawned, it just like changed everything up because I was just used to like just left clicking on everybody. But then after the butcher spawn, you actually had to think and actually had to like fight him properly, and it was really cool. It was a really good change up. I really enjoyed it. But
And I
yeah,
think that's the case for the when we did the world boss as well, where
mhm.
you couldn't just kind of like spam your abilities. You had to like it was all about positioning.
Yeah,
Um
100%.
as well as doing consistent damage as well.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, I'm hoping that a lot of the challenge of the game is that, and it's not just like
Yeah,
mindless
Yeah,
clicking a necromancer mindlessly clicking two to explode
yeah,
corpses, and it just chains and chains
exactly.
and chains.
Mhm.
Um, I do think I think the whole thing with Diablo is it's fine to get to that point where you're just kind of ruining everything
Yes.
because that's sort of like that's how ARPGs kind of work. You eventually
Mhm.
get to a point where you're doing a 20-minute dungeon in like 50 seconds because
Yeah.
you've got your speed buffs,
Mhm.
you're just getting through stuff quickly.
Mhm.
It's not what everyone does, obviously, but that's like what some of like the super min maxes eventually do as
Yeah.
a speed running technique. So
I
um
think, yeah,
I do really
late
think you're
game.
gonna feel powerful, but it won't I don't think you feel as like
if you can
it's
keep
not
it
gonna
Yeah.
up in the
feel as
world tier, I
mindless.
think that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
that's the thing is that like I think when you get to it, like the issue when we were doing Necromancer is that we were powerful like 5 minutes into it.
Mhm.
Like it was
There was a
pretty
problem
quick.
there, I think.
Yeah, like we were powerful quite quickly into it, and I think it's also the beta. The beta kind of like it really buffs you up. So
That's
like
true,
I
you were
think
able to get the ridiculous skills really early.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that's what
absolutely.
it was, and I don't imagine I like very highly doubt that the actual game is going to do that. I feel like in the game it's
I
gonna be
think there's
very
gonna be a cooldown on
slow
that
build up.
corpse explosion because there's no
You,
cooldown, there's no resource usage on it.
no,
It's just it's
you just
infinite
spam
Mm,
two.
basically,
You just gotta have the
which is
corpse.
very weird because I feel like a lot of the really powerful abilities do require it to be like on a cooldown. using your
Yeah,
resource.
because mine used resources, my powerful
Yeah.
ability for rogue, yeah.
Yeah,
Or that
and
I
a lot
chose
of
at
them do,
least.
like sorcerer as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like my taunts and whatnot. Yeah.
it's with the necromancer. Yeah, the strongest ability that the necromancer has is no cooldown and
Mhm.
infinite.
Yeah, exactly.
How much is
So
the game?
Exactly.
$100? $110?
110, yeah, for the standard
110.
edition.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a
Bro,
little
I'm
Yeah,
bit.
it's
so adverse to buying games these days just because of this subscription model that we all
I
Yeah,
know. It's yeah.
exactly.
Every time I'm
Exactly.
like, it's like swallowing a fucking tough pill. Every time
yeah.
there's a game that's like
Yeah.
over, especially as PC gamers are definitely not used to spending
Being
that
so
amount of
expensive.
money
Used to
on
be
a
max
game.
$80 for a AAA game on a
Yeah.
PC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It's
Sony.
going a lot more
Thank you.
now.
Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Now
thanks,
every
Tony.
game is $10 or $20 or $45 above what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the case of PlayStation exclusives.
$125, dude. Hello?
Yeah. I,
Yeah, that is a quite the chunk every time. It's like,
Yeah.
one
Jesus, man.
the one thing I also will say,
Mhm,
I love the transmog in this game. I also love
mhm.
the armor and how the armor looks in this game.
Yeah,
Like
I
playing
agree.
Necromancer, I got a lot of legendary gear, looks sick. Barbarian, got a good amount of legendary gear, it looks really sick. Like the armor looks really good in this game, and it's really cool. And I really like the transmog where it's just you salvage the gear and then you can just transmog it. That's it. There's no like roundabout bullshit you have to worry about. That's just it.
I'm
Which is very
wondering if that's gonna be the case, though, in the full game. If it won't be as straightforward, if it's a beta thing. I hope it's not,
Mm.
but
well, here's the it's like from other games like Guild Wars and stuff like that, it is that simple. It is where
mm.
you just can transmog it.
Is there
There's
a
nothing to it.
currency attached to transmogging in Guild Wars?
No, not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
I do hope so because I really like making your character look like how you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope
exactly.
so. They've
That's what
also said, and this has worried me a little bit, where they said that respecing a level 100 character is going to cost a lot. And I'm
Mhm.
sort of worried about that because I think the best part about Diablo is being able to kind of tailor your build on
Try
the
new shit.
fly
Yeah.
now
and try new
here
stuff.
now when they say it's a lot, I wonder if that's a lot
Well,
like
the
because at
producer
level
said that
100
it might be easier to make a new character.
Oof.
And I was like, that does not
oh,
sound
I
too
don't like
exciting to
that.
me. Yeah,
I don't
it
like
does
that. No.
not excite me in any way. The good thing is you can refund individual
Yeah.
skills.
So if you're
Which
not
would be
going
nice,
too far
yeah.
down the
So
tree.
if you so you could just, and I think you can refund. I'm not sure if you have to refund in order. I'm not sure
Oh,
if you
okay.
do or not.
So it could be alright.
Yeah.
So that might be okay. You might have to like it might take a little bit longer to respec your character, but instead of just pressing a button and spending like, I don't know, 100,000 gold or whatever,
Hmm.
it might be better to do it that way. But yeah, that statement did worry me a little bit because that does not sound like the way they were saying it was like it's an exciting thing, but it did not excite
This
me.
no, that doesn't sound
It doesn't
exciting at
sound
all.
like an exciting prospect that I should, instead of just pressing a button, I should make a whole new character and run through. I'm assuming you don't have to run through the campaign again. You can
No.
Yeah.
just kind of like transfer over your stuff.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
really, yeah, because I really like to be able to, you get to level 100, you've done your build. Really like to be able to just like be like, I want to try this build,
Mhm,
and not read too much about every skill that you're doing and just try it and see how it
mhm.
feels and be
Yeah.
like, oh, this feels like shit, but I don't feel bad because I didn't spend that much on it. Like that would
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I'm expecting there will be, like, naturally a cost associated with
Yeah, of
respecking,
course. Yeah.
but I hope it's not too punishing because I think that goes against sort of like
The idea of
the
it, right?
spirit of Diablo, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to me at least, like, I think build crafting is a big part of it, and to put a large price on it just, yeah, feels kinda bad, I'd
Yeah,
say.
100%.
So
100%.
and I could imagine, like, if they do add that, I could see a lot of backlash happening and them being
Yeah.
like, "Okay, we're gonna revert that because people are
Hopefully.
annoyed that they have to,
Mhm.
put all this time into another character to respec correctly." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Game
Don't worry,
um,
also
there's like
runs ridiculously well.
so well, dude.
yeah,
Maybe
like
too well because it's
I
using too much of people's GPUs
here's the thing, I
in
don't
some
have the best of
cutscenes.
Yes,
I
well.
I don't have the best of PC anymore, and this
Hmm,
was running really good on my PC. The only issue I had was a network issue, which was just I think,
mm,
and a lot of people are
that
having
was a
that
beta
where
problem, yeah,
yeah. So like
where you
this
couldn't
game ran really
teleport.
good for me as well. Like I was actually loading in quite quickly into missions and stuff like that. Like it's actually quite surprising. So yeah, no, I was
And I'm
Because
very
shocked 'cause
I got a 3080 Ti, so I was, like
you
straight
were
up neutering my GPU to make
yeah, to
sure
make
it
yeah.
didn't
sure it
take any
doesn't do
power.
anything too
I
crazy.
was running it at 40% power limit.
Yeah.
I think it
Mm,
was getting to like maximum 600 megahertz or something. It was
yeah.
so underclocked. It was crazy. And it was still running fine 60 high settings. Like
Hmm.
it was
Mm,
just chilling.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
also looks really good. I think
does look
from
really
like for an ARPG, it's actually a really good looking game.
it's a really good looking game,
Um,
100%.
and it looks good enough that they can do real time cutscenes, which is great.
Mm. Yeah, which
Not
is
so
really
much
cool.
if you
I'm
have
really
a
happy
fully
with that.
vaulted 3080 Ti
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
when you're
don't do
playing the
that.
game.
Undervolt that shit.
But yeah, hopefully I haven't seen any statements about their investigation, but I think obviously by the time launch comes around, they'll have something out about it,
Yeah,
and probably
they'll
won't
probably have some
be causing
workaround.
that issue.
Yeah.
It's a
What was
good
the
thing
new?
that
Yeah, New World found a workaround for it, didn't they?
they did. They just frame capped the login screen.
Oh, okay.
That was the
Okay.
cause. It
Okay.
was basically just
Yeah.
like running the I think it was an in-game loading
Yeah.
start screen, and it was just running at like 400 FPS on a 3090 and just like
Holy
popping
shit.
it.
Holy shit.
So yeah. So it's a I guess it's a similar problem with Diablo 4, but just in a different kind of section of the game.
Yeah.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, Diablo 4 very exciting, and it's kind of
Yeah.
soon,
Yeah,
June
yeah,
6th
June
slash
2nd,
2nd if
right?
you get a certain edition. So
Yeah, very soon.
very
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 soon.
excited for that game.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Do we want to talk about Forza
was
Horizon
yeah, I was gonna say for
5
Yeah.
yeah.
what's it called? Rally something?
Rally Adventure,
Rally
Yeah.
Adventure. Thank
if I
you. Yeah,
remember it
tell me about
correctly.
this. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
I have finished it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
The two games I talk
How long
about
did
this
it take you
week,
to finish, by the way?
I think it was probably about 5 or 6 hours. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's not
I
too
didn't
bad.
100% it. I just did all the races and
Yeah,
like the like the danger signs and the speed traps and the
sure.
drifting and
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but no, it was really good. It's definitely my favorite update to the game so far.
mhm,
It's added such cool stuff. New rally parts for a lot of cars. Like the call outs, not having to look at your map every 5 seconds to figure out what's coming up on the. Just having someone tell you, it's great.
Mm,
It's so useful, and it means that they can make really complex maps with like super tight corners and just have someone tell you about it rather than having to worry all the time. Real
mm.
good.
do the maps feel differently designed to how you're used to Forza Horizon maps, Forza Horizon races feeling?
Yeah, the rally ones specifically, because there's like road
Mhm,
rally and then there's
right.
dirt rally.
Mhm,
The dirt ones for sure. Some of the road sections as well, but most of the dirt ones they're like super tight corners and they come up really quick and lots of hairpin turns and shit
mhm,
like that. Stuff that is very rare in a lot of the sections of normal
sure.
Horizon 5.
Mhm. Mhm.
Cool.
Um,
How does the new environment feel, the new map?
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention to it, if I'm honest.
Sure.
Every now and again, I'd be like, "Oh, this is a cool area." Like, there's a
Mm.
palm tree forest,
Oh, yeah.
and like there's a waterfall and like a river coming out of it. But generally, it's similarly just as good looking as the normal Mexico area
Right.
from what I can see. Anyway, it
Do
is
you
a bit
think
different.
do you think it looks too similar to how the OG map looks?
Um,
Because I have heard people say that are just like,
yeah, maybe. But they also, it is set in the same country and
of
close
course,
to
yeah,
yeah. But I think I'm happy that they put more resources towards the gameplay and the everything else compared to what the map looked like.
Mm.
sure, yeah, of
'Cause that's
course,
what really shines for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and
How many cars? How many new cars are there?
Yeah, what's so
20
how
new
much content do
ones,
you think?
30 new
20?
ones. Yeah, I
30.
don't know.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I really like the way they've done the race positioning because it's like actual rally. It's not
Mhm.
you can choose to do normal races. I did figure that out, where you can
Mhm.
just do like normal side to side shit, or you can choose to do like actual rally where it's all based off of just like a point to point sprint
Right.
time.
Mhm.
So you're not actually racing anyone physically; you're just racing against their time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I prefer
Yeah.
to do the time based one because it means you can go as fast as you want to without having to slow down
Yeah.
for people on corners.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to check this out for sure.
Yeah, no,
I,
this is very exciting. This is very good. This is
I'm
very good.
assuming this is like the last kind of content drop that Horizon 5 gets, apart from like the seasonal
mm.
stuff. But I think they're kind of rehashing cars. You said like it's not like they're introducing new cars into those weekly challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen new cars in the seasonal stuff for a while. Maybe
Mm,
there's like one or two here and there that I'm
right.
just not
Yeah.
recognizing, but a lot of it is just the same stuff. I haven't
Sure.
actually done the seasonal stuff for a long time,
I got to
which
say,
is fine.
I'm actually impressed with the post-launch support for this Horizon versus the other ones, where like
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not just introducing, like, obviously they've got the expansions like you'd expect, but like even just like tech upgrades, like they've added DLAA, DLSS2, DLSS3,
Mhm.
NVIDIA, what's the anti, not anti-lag, but anti input lag setting? It's like
yeah,
NVIDIA
whatever it's called.
Reflex.
Yeah, reflex.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm impressed with that kind of aspect of it where they're adding to it. I'm sure Microsoft's got some kind of deal with Nvidia and that's why it's
Yeah.
happening. But
Yeah.
still kind of cool that I feel like this version of Horizon has gotten more support than I've seen in the other Horizon games, I think.
It does feel
Mhm.
like it for sure.
Like I feel there've been like more like PR pops on Twitter of like this is new in the game right now
Yeah.
Yeah.
versus how it was in Horizon 4 where it felt a little more stretched out. Um
Mm.
and like by the end it was like people weren't really looking too heavily at it.
Mhm.
Um yeah, no, glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
I'm
Yeah.
a big fan.
you definitely enjoyed this more than the Hot Wheels one, right?
Yeah, I didn't really
Yeah.
like the Hot Wheels DLC. I think it was
Yeah,
too
yeah.
straight line and, just hold right trigger and win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too basic for a pro racer like Nathan, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Now you get it.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to try it out. I'm gonna get the racing wheel going. Very excited.
Maybe a
Bump
bit
up.
difficult with a racing wheel
It
because of all
probably
the
will
tight
be,
corners.
but I'll give it a
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I tried Hot Wheels with the racing wheel, and that was not a fun
Yeah,
experience.
no.
Like, absolutely, this is not meant for this. Okay,
Alrighty.
well, we
Big
have
one.
one more game to talk about.
Yep.
Probably the biggest game of the week,
Yeah,
I'd
100%.
say.
I would say.
Yeah, let's talk about Resident Evil 4
Yeah,
then.
this is a big one. Alrighty. Jamie, look, you can start off with this.
Okay,
What did you think of Resident Evil
I'll
4?
start off by saying that I feel like I accidentally became a massive Resident Evil fan. Like, and when I say that is like I just like all of a sudden when I was playing Resident Evil 4, I'm like, wow, I'm like a really big fan of these games.
Yeah.
And it came out of nowhere because I went from my first Resident Evil was Resident Evil 5, right?
Mhm,
Not a great one to start with.
mhm, mhm.
Co-op, very action focused, barely any horror at all. Basically like a Call of Duty campaign in a Resident Evil wrapper.
Yeah.
And then I went to Resident Evil 6, which is that, but plus just fucking dog shit. Just a very bad video game.
Mhm, mhm.
And then this franchise kind of took a break and then came back for Resident Evil 7. And I played that and I was like, oh, hell yeah. This is what people talk about when they talk about Resident Evil. Like, it's
Yeah.
horror, it's survival horror. It's super, super tense, tight corridors,
Mhm,
lots of enemies. Um, and now we're here with Resident Evil 4, where it's a little more actiony than that. It's a
mhm.
little less like the original Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Um, but it's so fucking good.
It's still really good.
So have
It's
you
so
played the original Resident Evil 4?
no, I have watched videos on it,
Sure.
so I know, like, I kind of know the playthrough of, like, how the game kind of works, but I
Yeah.
have not actually played it myself.
Yeah, it was one of those
Um,
things for me, like, obviously, I haven't played Resident Evil 4, but it's one of those cultural games where you see references to it
you know it.
and you've seen
Exactly.
screenshots and, like, you see the top 100 best games of all time, and it's on the
It's
list,
there.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Um, and so it's been really exciting to finally experience what people have been talking about for so long.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Because this is a damn good video game.
This is a real good game. And one thing
Uh,
that's really cool is that a lot of people who thought Resident Evil 4 was like absolutely phenomenal and whatnot are saying that this game is just good. Like they're saying it's just as good. Like it is
well, it's
just
just yeah,
the same.
it's just Resident Evil 4, but improved in almost every
Exactly.
way, like, right? So,
Exactly. And
um,
yeah, it's
so
just
where do you want to start with this game? Like,
uh so okay, I imagine we're not
what
spoiling
aspect do you
anything.
want to talk
So
about first?
I think this was the biggest change I heard a lot of people talk about, and I will quickly say when we talk about like the improvements. One thing in the original Resident Evil 4, and this is like a small improvement, but like this kind of like rails off to everything else this game has done. In the original Resident Evil 4, you could not move and shoot. Now, of course, in this
Right.
game, you can move and shoot, right? You can do all that stuff. But in this game, the one thing that I want to talk about immediately is holy shit, I love the animations in this game. Like, the animations are so cool in the sense of like the way you move around and the way he interacts, like the way he holds his gun and shoots. When he gets close to enemies, he pulls the gun back in close to him,
Mm.
right? And like
There's a lot of
small
contextual stuff like that.
yeah, there's small, really cool things that make it really, really cool. So I would say, like, yeah, the animations are absolutely phenomenal. One thing I'm also glad we talked about this, I think last night, JV, where they removed a lot of the more interesting lines in the game.
So much cringe dialogue that,
Yeah,
like, in 2005, it made a little bit of even in 2005, it didn't make sense. Like,
yeah,
it was I'm not sure why that's the direction they went for RE4 at the
yeah.
time, where it went for, like, that sort of, like, pulpy, kinda cringy dialogue for Leon.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they've kept some of that. Like, there's a couple lines that are, they're taken straight from the original Resident Evil 4, like, in
Yeah.
the
Where's
beginning when he
everybody
says,
going?
"Where is
Bingo.
everyone going? Bingo." Like, that's a line that's just, like, it's so out of left field and weird,
Mm.
but it kinda fits in a weird
Yeah.
strange way. Like, I think they've sort of blended the line between campy and keeping the seriousness of Resident Evil 2 and 3.
100%.
Definitely
100%.
more like Resident Evil 2. I think Resident Evil 3's, sort of the ugly stepchild of the
It
remake
is.
family, I'd say.
100%. Yeah.
Um, but I do agree about the animations, like, it's all like, even the facial animations and the cinematics in general, like, it's all very well framed and,
100%.
um, it's just one of those, like, really gorgeous, polished AAA releases that you only get
Yeah.
every, a couple every year or so,
Mhm. Mhm.
and, I
The
just had a bl I ne there was never a dull moment. I don't know if this was
No.
you, but there like, the entire it took me 16 hours to beat the game, and that
Yes.
was trying to do everything.
Mhm.
We'll talk about the side quests in a little bit here, but, there was never a moment where I was like, "Oh, I wish we'd move on from this part," or,
Yeah.
This part's a bit boring," or,
Mhm.
it was just nonstop, drama, action, horror,
Yeah.
thriller vibes the whole way with, like, interesting characters, a cool story, and really fucking dope environments. Like, the
Yeah.
environmental, like,
100%.
work they've done in this game is so, so impressive. Like, as I said, it's a gorgeous video game. Like, it's
Mhm.
probably one of my favorite looking video games,
Yeah. 100%.
that I played in a long time, and yeah.
There's one shot I always remember. We actually might see it in here because it's actually pretty soon after this, where you meet the merchant. Once you meet him, you walk before it and you go to like this village that's in the middle of like this canyon. And
Mhm.
when you actually open the door and walk into that village and you just see like the wind blowing, you see all like the clothes blowing on the lines and like you hear the creaking of the wood and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's such a cool shot. Such a cool shot. And like that's what like I would agree that like some of the shots in this game and the environments are just
So
beautiful.
well framed, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. The
It's the kinda game you only get when they've got, like, a super talented team with
Yeah.
a really high budget
Mhm.
and as much time as they need. But also, this game came out pretty quick
Yeah, it did.
because we've essentially had a Resident Evil game every year since since 2019, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Because there was a little bit of a gap. Like, we had Resident Evil 7 in 2017, then there was a gap, then there was Resident Evil 2 Remake,
Yeah.
and then Resident Evil 3 Remake was the year after, right?
Yeah. Wait, Village was 7, right? That was Village?
Village was 8. So Village was
Yeah.
after,
Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil 3, which was, I guess, that was 2021, and then we had the DLC for Village, and now we've got this.
Yeah, no, yeah, this they
And
always
now
have
there's a rumor that
content.
there's gonna be DLC for this game. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
there's sort of like lines of code that people have data mined that sort of reference a, sort of an alternate way through the campaign with a character, that you will have met
Oh.
if you play the game. It's
Oh, that's
Ada.
really cool.
It's Ada.
That's really cool.
So you kind of I assume you would follow her story. I'm not sure how long it would be. I hope it's meaty because I just want more of this. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. I just want more, bro. Like, this shit's
Um,
good. The
we haven't really even discussed the gameplay.
No, like, well, the one thing I was gonna say immediately right now with gameplay, and this is what, like, I was gonna talk about the one worry I had that did not become a worry, and that worry was we talked about this, Jamie, when we first played on day one, is that there's an abundance of ammunition, right? There was a lot of ammunition, right?
Stacked.
But then when I got to like midpoint and end game, I got to a point I was like, I had just enough ammunition to where I felt like I had enough per fight, but I would always run out. You know what I mean?
It felt very Resident Evil 2 where they'd somehow tuned it to the like the singular piece of ammo that you needed,
Mhm.
singular bullet where you would finish a fight and you would have no bullets left.
Exactly. You would have
And it was
like
like, "Shit, I
literal
need to
none.
scavenge now because 'cause I've got no." I don't know if the next room will have a ton of enemies or if it's just
Mhm.
like, you know, if I'm if I'm gonna be fucked here.
Mhm.
Um, but they always like, I don't know, there must be some systems in the background to be like, we know when the player has no ammo or has very
Yeah.
little ammo to
Mhm.
then drop you the stuff you need. Because I have
Yes.
noticed, like, when I'm low health, the game's more likely to drop you green
Green
herbs,
herbs. Exactly.
from
Yeah.
enemies. So, there must be something in the background that's doing that. Because otherwise, like, there's no way they're tuning it that way. Because everyone plays differently.
Exactly.
Especially in a
Exactly.
game where, the gameplay is pretty varied for a Resident Evil game where you do
Mhm.
have you can go run and gun. You've got
You
kind
go
of the
stealth.
horror elements, but you've also got the stealth attacks.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, man, the game just feels really good to play.
It does
And I
feel
think
really
that's why it never felt like a dull. I never felt like there was a dull moment because every time there was a combat encounter, I was having fun. Every
Yeah.
time there's a cutscene or dialogue, I'm interested. Every
Mhm.
time there's a new location, I'm like excited to to see what this location's going to bring and what kind
Mhm.
of enemies I'm going to face.
Mhm.
Um, and these are all things that the original did. Like I think
Yes.
this remake's probably they probably had to do less with this remake than they did for Resident Evil 2.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and so from that perspective, it's probably less impressive in that way. If you've played the original Resident Evil 4, you'd just be like, oh, this is just, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 with updated gameplay, better visuals, and less cringe dialogue, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for someone who's new to this game, who hasn't played the original,
Yeah.
it's like obviously
A
a
whole
whole
new
new
game.
experience. And
Mhm.
I am so sad that I never got to play this game earlier. I'm sad
Yeah.
that I never played the original because like I've been missing out on like potentially one of my favorite games of all time.
Exactly. This
It
game
just
is
yeah,
absolutely
just
great.
it's
The one thing I will also say, so you have Ashley, who like a companion, follow you
mhm.
around quite a lot, right? And the
Yeah, sorry, the
way
whole context is that you're here to save the
yes.
president's daughter,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she becomes a companion throughout the game. Proceed.
So you're yeah, so Ashley follows you around, and I have like always been worried about like companions following around, but Ashley actually was handled really well. You could tell her to go and hide, you could tell her to leave you alone or come close to you, right, or something like that.
Is that game
And
you can order women around?
exactly,
AZ.
dude. My favorite thing.
The real game of fantasy.
Exactly. Oh no, he got stuck in a bear chest. Sorry.
Bro, that got me
I got
too,
some of that too.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god. Dude, they're
straight
such
up
trolls,
debated.
man. There are so many troll moments where it's
There
like you
is.
think you're
There's
gonna be
so many.
okay. I saw a funny clip where someone like one of the villagers got stuck in a bear trap, and then the streamer was like, "Ha, got him!" And then they immediately turn the corner and get stuck in a bear trap as well, and they're just looking at each other in bear traps. It
That's
was
really
yeah. It's
funny.
just there's so many funny like comedic moments in this game that kind
Yeah.
of happen just like
Naturally.
they just yeah naturally exactly.
Mhm.
Anyway, continue on about
Um,
Ashley. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way they handled her was actually really, really cool because yeah, you could do that, but also apparently in the original, she was like really annoying in the original. Apparently she was actually quite annoying. Her dialogue, she was constantly
Totally.
screaming and whatnot. Apparently she was really annoying. But
Okay, but her
in
scream is very annoying in this game too.
but she doesn't do it as much. That's the thing. Is that
Wow, she
like
was getting captured a lot on my playthrough. I don't know about you. She was getting grabbed a lot. I'm like, "Fuck, stop, please, just go away. Get away from her."
Uh, yeah, no. So luckily, in my playthrough, she didn't get grabbed that often. So I guess, like, I don't know.
Just it's a skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue, I guess. What do you call it? But yeah, no, it was actually really cool because like, and even the dialogue, like how she talked to Leon and actually how she acted and whatnot, it was good. One thing I will say that I did overall enjoy this game is that I didn't think there was any real cringy dialogue. I was really worried because that was the biggest thing I heard in the original game is that there was a lot of like really cringy
Yeah, like
dialogue.
it's funny. It wasn't cringy at the time, and it was sort of like that was just the vibe they were going with the game. But I think
Mhm.
as time's gone on, gaming dialogue has kind of changed and writing has gotten better, and so
Yeah,
it just looks worse from
yeah,
at this point.
100%.
But that
And yeah,
was not the case in this remake at all. I didn't.
yeah,
There was no dialogue where I was like, "Come on, that's like
yeah. Like, come on.
awful."
Yeah, but yeah, no, there's some actually actually really good dialogue I actually really enjoyed in this.
I will say in terms of complaints, I I don't totally gel with the mechanics that Ashley has. In
Yes, yeah,
like
I
in
can
terms
understand
of
that.
the ordering her around, like I think I understand why they do it. Like they
Mhm.
want you to it's to build tension, right? Because
Yeah,
you're sort of managing Ashley's safety while also dealing with massive hordes of enemies where
yes,
you definitely deal with more enemies on screen than you have in the past, and you
mhm,
sort of have the gunfire and the firepower
mhm,
to kind of combat all these enemies
yep,
versus
yep,
something in like Resident Evil 2.
mhm,
And so I understand the like if you're trying to manage Ashley's safety, she's getting captured. You've got one of the dudes with like the fucking piranha plant face at
yeah,
you, who can one hit you if you get too close. He can just
mhm,
fucking chew you the fuck up.
yep,
And you're kind of just you're being pushed back into a corner. Ashley getting pushed like getting taken away. You've got a timer essentially. So if
mhm,
one of the villagers takes her through a certain door, it's game over.
mhm,
You got to keep her safe.
mhm.
So I understand the stress of that situation, but I don't know, it just kind of felt annoying a lot of the time
Yeah, I can
where I'm
understand
like,
that.
I'm in combat and then she's just like, "Ah," and I'm like, just stop getting captured, please, just stop." And
I can
then it
understand
would
that.
just and then, like, and I know you can, like, send her into lockers, which the game doesn't tell you
It
at all.
doesn't
At
like that at
least it
all.
didn't did not see that prompt at all throughout
Yeah,
the entire game until you told me, and I was like, "That's really useful."
yeah,
Um, Especially when you start dealing with the regenerators, which
mhm.
we won't get into here, but,
Yeah, those
those
are those are piece.
the regenerators, for your, information, Nathan, regenerators essentially uh, you shoot them in the limb, and they grow that shit back,
Oh
and
hell
then
yeah.
they get more powerful. Essentially, the
Mhm,
more you kind of hit them in the wrong
mhm,
spot.
mhm.
Um, and I'm so glad that I knew about the locker strat with Ashley because because like when you're fighting regenerators, like there's no way I could manage her when I'm fighting those
No,
buggers.
no, yeah,
Um, but yeah, like Ashley, obviously a lot less annoying in terms of the dialogue that she's
yes,
saying, but I do think that she kind of gets in the way a lot of the time,
yeah, I agree.
in a way that like a companion like Ellie in The Last of Us doesn't, because
Mhm,
Naughty Dog would just like it was almost like it was actually a direct um like response to Resident Evil 4 where they were like people found Ashley annoying in Resident Evil 4. For The
mhm,
Last of Us with Ellie, we're not going to make her annoying. She's just
yeah,
somewhere that can help with gameplay. But if an enemy walks past her, they're not going to spot her, and you're not going to go out of
yeah,
stealth
you have to
when they
worry
see
about her.
Ellie.
Yeah,
In Resident Evil 4, that's not the case. Where Ashley is more of like a player that the enemies react to and
yes,
see essentially.
mhm, mhm.
So I didn't
Um,
love it. I didn't love that, to be honest.
yeah, I can understand that. I can understand, like, the pain of that. Like, I was okay with it. I was indifferent about it, but,
Yeah,
like,
like
yeah,
I'm
I can
not.
understand, like,
I'm.
the
It's just one of the small nitpicks I have in an otherwise incredible game.
Mhm.
That was just one thing I noticed where I was like, oh, this is one of the moments where I'm getting frustrated where Ashley's just not kind of doing what I say for her to do. Like you can tell her to kind
Yeah,
of hold back from enemies,
but
but
she
then
doesn't. Yeah, I
and then she just doesn't. I was like, well, I mean, what's the point of me commanding her? She might as well just be on my ass the entire time then, if she's just going to
yeah,
keep getting captured regardless. So
mhm.
there was a little bit of
Um,
weirdness with the AI in that aspect.
100%. The one last thing I'll say about this game, because I'm trying not to say too much without spoiling too much,
Yeah, no
because, like, I
spoilers, obviously. Game only
yeah,
just came out. I mean, obviously, it's
the
weird because the game, this
it's
game
already
came out
been out, but yeah,
originally in 2005, but there is some new stuff here that the players
yes.
of the original won't know about.
Mhm. The side missions and, like, the replayable content that
Mm,
you can do in this game is great. I was really surprised about how replayable this game actually is. This game is super replayable. Like,
yeah, there's
you
there's
could
definitely a lot of reason to do multiple playthroughs.
yeah, like,
For
there's a
sure.
lot of
There's
different
like a
stuff you
lot of,
can
and,
do.
and that's sort of been Resident Evil's vibe. Like Resident Evil 2
Yeah.
had a similar situation. This
Mhm.
is definitely more replayable.
Yeah.
um,
100%.
where there's I think half the achievements are to do a full playthrough, but doing a specific variable like
Yep.
don't use health items, don't
Yeah,
only
there
use a handgun and a knife.
I saw
Um,
one where it's like, "Don't talk to the merchant," right? Something like that, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
which is
Yeah.
that's cool stuff. Like you're gonna have to play the game a lot differently in that
Yeah.
way, which I
Yeah.
dig. So I'm definitely gonna play this again because
Yeah.
I just want more of just how the game
100%.
like because the game feels so good that I just want more of it, and
Mhm.
I'm totally happy to do repeat playthroughs because
Yeah.
there's not because there's some games where you do like another playthrough. Like Last of Us 2 for me is that where you've got the open world part, which I
Mhm.
hate doing on repeat playthroughs. But
Yeah.
there's no moment in this game where I'm gonna be like, oh, this part again.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
there'll be
Mhm.
stuff that's annoying because I'm on a harder difficulty, sure, but it won't be because of like the context of what it is,
100%.
what the actual mechanic is or what the encounter is.
Have you seen the skips that people have already found to get, like, professional S plus? Have you seen
Yeah,
any of the skips?
I have seen some of the skips there. Like
Bro,
you
some
can
of the
stuff like you can ring the bell in the village.
early, right? You could do
Yeah,
something like that. Have you seen the skip with, like, the wrecking ball where you just throw grenades at the wall preemptively and it
yep,
would one hit the
I
wall? Like,
saw that as well.
dude, there's so many skips that people are finding already, which is
And it's
insane.
skips that they've put in the game,
Yeah,
which I think is
exactly.
so
It's
cool. Like
so
I saw
cool.
someone say that Resident Evil 4 is now like an immersive sim, and
Yeah.
it really does remind me of that, where there's so many different like things you wouldn't think like most games don't do. They don't
Mhm.
allow you to do them, but this game's just like the developers are like, well, we've introduced stuff that requires you to beat the game quicker. So
Yeah.
let's give you the tools to do that a little bit easier than just run really fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
and I
one
really
that
dig that.
Like, one that I saw because, like, so one weapon you can get in this game, you can get a lot of different weapons in this game.
Tons
One
of
that
weapons.
I saw and I bought, but I never used was the RPG. You can get that, but I thought to myself, like, why? Like, and at the end of it, I was like, why do you use this, right? But then I saw that you can, like,
Shoot
just
the
straight up
TNT.
kill enemies,
Well,
right?
yeah,
You can kill enemies with, like, the
it's a
iron
one
golem.
shot.
Yeah, the iron golem one shots it, right? Or as you said, the TNT. There's a mine, you have to get some TNT, or shoot with the RPG.
Yeah,
You
so you
skip
need
past
so Nathan,
15
there's a section of the game where there's essentially a mine shaft that's blocked, and you need to get this TNT item. But instead of doing this whole section
Mhm.
where you're getting the item, you can just use your RPG to blow the whole and then skip over that
Skip it.
whole section of the game essentially.
Speedrun
So
strat.
that yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, totally. Like it's basically like in-game speedrun strats that don't require someone to like glitch the game. It's just the developers have thought of this and said, we're gonna allow people to do this.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really cool. It's really, really cool. And I'm glad that the developers did stuff like that because then when you see like if you're brand new to the game, you're like, oh, I'm gonna see what like professional S plus looks like, and you see them doing these things, you're like, wow, that is like
didn't
never
even
thought of
think of
that.
doing that. Never would
Yeah,
have thought of
exactly.
that.
Never thought of shooting the bell
Um,
myself. Like
I will
it's
say
cool.
on the subject of the side missions, so
Hmm.
the side missions in the game are essentially these offers or these requests that you can pick up. They're like
Yeah,
blue slips. Generally, they're near the merchant.
yeah.
And they require you to do, like you get like rat exterminator. You got to kill 3 rats in this area, or
Mhm.
you need to go to this area and kill this boss
Yeah, or
character.
blue
And then
medallions.
they give you this special resource that you can use to trade with the vendor for exclusive items that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get.
Mhm.
Um, I think they're cool,
Yeah.
but my only this guy cannot do this fucking
He
puzzle, man.
not the puzzle, bro.
My
Sorry, dude. I was like,
only
hello.
my only criticism with it is that it's not always clear when one of those will fail,
Exactly. I was gonna say the
which
same
I
thing. That
think
was
is
my only
super
complaint with the
annoying
game.
when you'll kind of progress the story and then you'll go back to your requests and it will say next to one of them, it'll be like failed. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I didn't even know that was I could I it would I thought I could just go back at some point and do it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
so I think like I guess if you're starting the game for the first time, a recommendation is anytime you pick up a blue slip, do it immediately
Yeah,
because
just do that.
you don't know when it's gonna auto fail essentially.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so
no,
that's
that
one of my, I've only got 2 complaints, and those are my 2. It's
mhm.
actually can be annoying sometimes gameplay wise, and then the some of the missions auto failing.
Yeah.
I do think Dead Space does side missions better, in
Yeah,
my
okay. Yeah.
opinion.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the side missions are just like kill 3 rats or destroy 5 targets in this area. Like they're not
Mhm.
super involved, and
Yeah.
they are repeated a lot.
Mhm.
What Dead Space Remake did, which was cool, was the side missions were to take you to areas of the game that you wouldn't typically go to in that order and give you more story around the original Dead Space. So more context in the lore.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better way of doing
Better
it
way of
for a
handling it.
remake,
Mhm.
just because I think it would have been cooler if Resident Evil 4 had more like, I guess, extensions on the lore in their side
Mhm.
missions in a way that Dead Space Remake did.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so yeah, they're my only 2 complaints with
That
the game. I mean, overall, like,
that is my
this is a
only
damn good
complaint,
video
yeah.
game.
That is my only complaint about the video game is, yeah, that because I remember I actually went into your chat chamber because
Mhm.
there was like a boss dog that you meant to kill. I progressed the story and I couldn't do anymore. So I quickly saw that you were one chapter behind me. So I quickly messaged you
Yeah,
like, hey, do this first
do
because yeah,
this as
no.
soon as you can. So yeah, when
'Cause
I
it,
do repeat playthroughs, I'm gonna know that whenever I get one of those blue offers and I want to get that specific item,
yeah.
to then trade, just
Mm.
do it immediately. Do it as
Yeah,
soon as I get it.
100%. That is my only complaint, bro. Organize your inventory, Jesus.
Bro,
Yeah,
and he
because
doesn't even know there's an auto sort. It doesn't even show
yeah,
auto sort down there.
no, it doesn't. So yeah,
Isn't that weird? Oh, there
no,
it is.
it
Yeah.
did.
So,
Yeah,
dude, I didn't figure out auto sort was a thing until like chapter 5.
yeah,
That's
exactly. I
crazy.
only figured it out because you figured it out. Yeah, it's like yeah, order. Yeah, that's one thing.
And
There's
that's another thing they never tell you, you know? They never
mhm,
tell you that there are some things that they just kinda leave up to the player to figure out, which
yeah,
I'm
which
generally fine with, but I think stuff like the locker and ordering Ashley into the locker is
is
important.
a very important one,
And I may
100%.
someone may correct me and be like, "You're a fucking idiot, you just missed that shit." But
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know about it until Seta mentioned it, so,
Mhm, mhm. But yeah,
yeah,
overall,
final thoughts?
really love this game. I would put this as game of the year right now, 110%. This is definitely game of the year. Probably one of my favorite games. Like I would say it's definitely up there with Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is one of my
Mhm,
favorites, and this is
totally.
definitely up there. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. Do you think they're gonna remake Resident Evil 5 now? Do you think they're gonna do that?
Yeah, so I was actually gonna ask that. I think they I mean, I don't wanna spoil anything with the game, but I
Yeah.
think given how the game Resident Evil 4 ends,
Yeah,
they're teasing Resident Evil 5 Remake,
100%.
which
And
I don't know how
dude,
they're
I don't
gonna,
know.
like, deal with that because there's some
That is a
interesting,
game.
like, cultural insensitivity with that, where
Yeah,
it's a
100%.
fucking white dude going to Africa and killing a bunch of Africans.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's
that's maybe where they wanna take it in the remake,
I
but,
feel like they might change it. I feel like they might just straight up
I
change it.
feel like they have to,
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, I mean, that's a little weird. But yeah, my final thing is saying I am tossing up between this being my game of the year versus Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah,
It's
I can understand
one of
that.
those 2, and I don't know what, but this game is damn good, and
Yeah,
I'm so glad that it turned out great because,
yeah.
you know, it could have gone the other way. It could have been trash, but it
Mhm.
was not. It's fantastic.
100%, 100%.
You guys ready to build a 100?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Who wants to add the first game?
Well, I want to ask you boys something because I have a couple of games here, okay, and I want to go with something here first. I want to ask you about so what is the list? Because I have a couple of games here, and I'm gonna. But what do we actually want this list to be? Is it our top 100?
I think. Well, here's the thing, right? Is I think we definitely shouldn't be specifically choosing games for like cultural impact. Like they have to be games that we personally enjoy. It can't just be like, oh, I haven't played. Like for instance, before I played Resident Evil 4 Remake, I couldn't be like, I wouldn't put Resident Evil 4 Original on this list because I'm like,
Yeah.
people consider it one of the greatest games of all time. Like it's our
Mhm.
list, so
Yeah.
it should be
Okay.
games like Nathan's Chosen, where it's like he really, really enjoyed Spore as a kid, so
Mhm.
like he wants to put it on the list. Sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
games that, yeah. So I think it's just games
That's how I
that
want.
you really, really enjoyed that you think deserve to be on your personal top 100 list
That's where we're
as a
gonna go with this. Okay.
not top 100 best games of all time, your top 100 favorite games of all
Our
time.
top 100 list.
They're not
Okay.
necessarily you're not going to necessarily see this list on IGN, although there'll
Yeah.
probably be some crossover naturally, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just games that you personally fucked with.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Then I can go first. You guys. Yeah,
Sure.
I'll go first. The game that I will put onto the list, probably what I think is one of the best roguelikes. I'm gonna put Hades on the list. I think it's one
Good
of the
pick.
best roguelikes.
That is a
Yeah.
fair pick.
Yeah. I think one of the best roguelikes of all time.
Yeah.
One of the easiest to
Are
get
you going to
into.
place it?
Am I spelling that right?
Wait, I can't read. It's Hades.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's not in there. It's
Oh,
okay.
there you go. Oh shit.
No, odd.
What I'm gonna do, because we said we're gonna reorganize the list, I
Mhm.
am going to wait to place this,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna place it when
Okay.
we actually reorganize the list.
You're gonna wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till we actually reorganize because we're gonna reorganize the list.
Sure, we are going to
so-
reorganize the list. I
so
don't think we're
am-
going to. We might not even do that much reorganizing.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think. There's only a
I
couple
think
games
it's
I want
fine
to
as
move
is
around.
almost. So.
There's a couple of games I want to move around.
All right. I'll go then. One that I don't think we even spoke about adding that definitely needs to be on here. Fucking Halo, dude. Halo 3 specifically.
Yes.
Oh, you picked one of mine. I was actually just about to pick that.
Yeah.
Halo 3, yeah, I think Halo, yeah, obviously Halo
Yeah.
3 needs to be on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Fuck. Okay, now I've got to scramble because that was
Let me-
literally the one I had on my head.
I thought that might be the case because we started talking about Halo. I was like, Jamie's probably gonna pick that.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
shit.
put it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna put it. Ooh, this is a tricky one to place, actually. I'm gonna put it here,
Got it.
just below Outer Wilds.
Okay.
Mhm.
Number
Mhm.
10. Yeah, okay. No, I
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, sure.
It's a good
Okay.
game, but I think that the games above it definitely do some pretty sick stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
My game. Now I'm channeling Nathan with this game in terms of
Ooh.
him picking Spore. I am picking the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Good.
'Cause
Yeah, that's a
that-
good choice. That is a
That
really
and
good
you know,
game.
obviously may not stand the test of time, may not be a game that that's the
Not
EA
that
one.
one. Not that one.
Not
Not
that shit.
that
not that one.
Not
Not
that
that one.
microtransaction full piece of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I put in so many. Dude, I was obsessed with this game as a kid. I
Mhm.
played it so much. I don't even think it might. We can just put in the EA one, but we know that it's the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll do
It's
that.
it's fine. I think it's fine to leave it where it is.
Mhm.
I don't think it's yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not the most incredible game. It's a game that I just played a shit ton as a kid, and I think about it a lot because it was, dude, just playing the battles from like all the different eras and going into do the space battles.
Mhm.
And then the fact that for Battlefront 3, they were going to do like ground battles and then you're going to shoot into space and do space battles. That would have been so sick. But yeah,
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, fantastic video game. And yeah, loved it. Fantastic.
Okay.
Deserves to be on this list for me personally.
No, I
It's
agree.
very, very
That-
acclaimed as well. Like a lot
it
of
is a
people.
Is
a
it?
lot of people talk about it for sure.
Yeah. I actually
Right, you've been on the Star Wars subreddit before? That's all they fucking talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Oh,
in
that
Star
is
Wars
true.
Republic,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. That's a good
that
point.
that one in Star Wars Republic are like the two games that are like were claimed to be some of the best. Like
Got
that's
a 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got a 95% review. Oh no, that's sorry. It's got a 94% review.
Oh, dude, that 1%. That's it.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
shit game.
I thought
Shit game.
I thought I just discovered this game. You know, I was just like the special little kid who found
that
this
found a
cool
gem.
niche Star Wars video game.
Yeah, that found a gem.
Found a hidden gem.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
Okay, now where are you gonna put Hades?
Hades. Okay, let me see the list here. So, above Spore, above Frostpunk.
Can't even hear you, man. You fucking.
No, I'm thinking. That's why.
Okay.
So above Spore,
Thinking to
above
the mic.
Frostpunk. Above Spore, above Frostpunk. Above Left 4 Dead.
Mhm.
Scroll up for me. Keep scrolling. Oh no, not that high, not that high. Not that
I mean, I'd put it above
be.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's what I
But
was
then
thinking.
I wouldn't put it above like Fallout 3. See, this is the problem. It's like
This
I'm
we need to
like,
reorganize the list. This is where we need to reorganize
yeah, I
the list,
know.
right? So I for now I will put it above Animal Crossing. That's where I would put Hades.
Yeah, that's fair
I'm
enough.
putting it
It's like
there.
one of the best. It's literally one of the best
It's
roguelike
probably
roguelites of all time.
It is my top.
One of the
3
best indie games of all time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for reorganizing the list, I have a couple of games. Well, I have one game I'm gonna push hard,
Where?
and then Near Automata I'm gonna push into top 10.
Oh,
Yes. If we're
you think
doing
it's
our
above
favorite
Halo
games,
3?
yes.
Halo 3 reinventing the online gaming
Above Elden Ring,
Bro,
above
Yes.
above
Mass
Elden
Effect
Ring?
2, above
Yes.
Bloodborne.
Yes. As I said, it is my
I'm
favorite.
vetoing that shit. No way should that be top 10.
Nah, dude. I am. Hey, if we're pushing,
way.
I have not played Last of Us Part 2, and I am fine with that being number 1. I am pushing Near Automata to be a top 10.
Make it 11, please.
Top 10.
Not above Halo 3.
I'm putting it.
Okay,
top 10.
well, in that case, where's Halo 3 right now? It's 10. What's hold on,
Nier
go
Automata
up.
will not stay in the top 10.
Well,
After all the
I need
games
to-
have
yeah,
been
okay,
added.
put it to number 10 for now.
If we need to, I will use
It
my.
will be moved. I can
It will
guarantee
definitely
you.
be moved out of top 10.
Because I've
If
still
we
got
need
more
to.
top 10 games.
If we need to, I'll put my customary vote to solid it
Okay,
at top 10.
I want to put Halo 3 at number 8.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I do think.
I think it's above because Half-Life Alyx, another first-person shooter, but I think Halo 3 just like that was an experience, man. That was
Yeah,
a
so
moment.
I want Near Automata there. Is there any other games I feel like should be moved out of top 10? Not really. Not like. I think everything that's in top 10 kind of should stay in top 10.
I put
I don't.
Mass Effect 2 at number 12. I bumped
Mass
it up.
Effect 2? Yeah. I think Super Mario 64 should drop because I was thinking of it a different way.
I
I'm
also
fine
think
with,
it should drop
I'm,
because
I'm fine. I'm fine if actually because I was looking at the different. I'm fine with full on just removing Super Mario 64.
If you want to come up with a different game, that's fine.
Nathan likes Mario 64.
I'm not sure
No,
I'd put
I
it on the
like-
list though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like the game, but I don't think it'd be on the list because I was thinking more as like a cultural how
Okay.
it changed gaming. But I
Definitely
wanna
had an
solve- you wanna
impact on me,
solve
but it
for-
wasn't the most impactful for me.
Yeah. Well, do you want to start with another Mario game then?
I'm fine. I'm fine to swap it for Odyssey. To be honest, I think
Odyssey's
Odyssey.
on my add to
Yeah,
add list.
I'm.
so-
I would.
because Odyssey was gonna
I
add
would be
eventually.
okay with Odyssey. Odyssey would definitely be on my
Yeah.
on my 2 ad list, so I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
100%. I think Odyssey should be on the list. Wherever you guys want to put Odyssey, I think that should be.
Dude,
That's a
Odyssey-
hard one.
I think
Odyssey.
probably around there wouldn't be a bad spot for Odyssey.
Yeah, I think Odyssey like top
Where
15,
was
maybe
that? Like
13.
here?
It was up. It was up more.
I think it was above Bloodborne.
Yeah, it was 13. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was right there.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Odyssey's like one of the best platformers ever. Like I fucking like, and I'm not even like a huge Mario fan, but when I played Odyssey, I just binged it.
Mhm.
Like
Great game.
Nathan, we were in Byron Bay, and I was just playing Odyssey, man. I was just like, I gotta play more of this game. That's when I was.
Oh,
playing
that's
it.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like
yeah.
so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Odyssey's fantastic. Totally okay with that being on the list.
Yeah.
Hades, Elden Ring, Inside, Bloodborne.
I could see. I think Hades should be higher.
Hades should be higher.
Yeah,
I haven't played it, and I'd probably say that.
I would put Hades better than Bloodborne. Definitely better than Inside for me.
Yes, I agree with that.
Mm,
I'm finding in my
I
head.
think
it's
leave
better-
it where it is because Bloodborne is like. I mean, for me, Bloodborne is the best From Software game in a sea of like 10 out of 10. So it's like,
yeah, a lot of people say that, so I'm fine with that.
dude,
a lot of people say
Bloodborne's-
that.
Oh man, I would die happy if Bloodborne 2 got announced, but I'd actually want to play it first. So I'd
Yeah.
rather not die when it gets announced. Go down a
Um,
little bit because I feel like we can rejig the bottom a little
Yeah.
bit more.
This section.
Yeah. Um,
I'd put Skyrim above GTA 5
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I would
personally.
put oh, look, this is
I think
personal
Left 4 Dead's
opinion.
better than GTA 5.
Personally, yes,
Yeah,
I
I'd
do.
say I'd say
I
put that
would
above.
be happy to put Left 4 Dead 2 above
Yeah.
GTA 5.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's our
look,
list. Like we all
pers
adore Left 4 Dead 2.
personally, I would put Resident Evil 2 above Animal Crossing New Horizons, but that is personal. I have played both and I enjoyed Resident Evil 2 much, much more.
Yeah. I think honestly when we added Animal Crossing, I don't know who added Animal
Yeah,
Crossing.
I
That
added
was
Animal Crossing.
yeah, that was Nathan,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It
Yeah, I mean
started off
we
it started off a lot lower. I never put it that high.
yeah.
It just so happens that we started putting games below it.
Yeah, that's true. No, Animal Crossing, I mean, it obviously deserves to be on this list. Like I've played a ton of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, Resident Evil 2 above that. That makes sense to me.
Yep.
Do you think
Yep.
Metro Prime should be above Animal Crossing too?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Fallout 3 above Animal
Fallout
Crossing?
3?
I'm just gonna go down this
Um,
list. Fallout 3?
Probably on the same level.
Yeah, I'd put they're around the same, yeah, for me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
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 What
Okay.
about go a little bit lower?
GTA, Frostpunk Spore. I actually okay, I think Battlefront 2, I have not played Spore. Well, no, I played a little bit Spore. I played a little bit Spore. I enjoy Battlefront 2 more
I'd put
than Spore.
Battlefront 2 at number 25.
25?
For me, but it's so difficult. Like I know I've barely played Spore personally,
Mm.
and so it's hard for me to judge it. But I have played a
Yeah.
little bit of Frostpunk, and I mean, obviously, I enjoy Battlefront 2 more. But you know, it's just completely biased. So
Mm.
it's hard when those three are all games that we've personally chosen. So
Yes, that's a hard thing. Um, Left 4 Dead 2 above Skyrim. I'm just saying that I don't know 100%.
I'm honestly at this point, I'm happy with how the list is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily make any changes.
Elden Ring,
Happy to hear it out
Elden
though.
Ring
Except for maybe
Inside, yeah.
just, just
To leave this. I got to play Nier Automata. You know, but before we end this top 100,
Yeah.
I will finish. I will play Nier Automata.
I feel like I've got to now.
Have a say in it because
I also
just
well,
so
I
I
need
can,
Just so we can plummet
just
it.
so I can say officially it is number 98.
yeah, I need to play part 2 as well.
Oh,
I need
you've
play
got to
part
play part 1
2.
and
because
part 2.
because the thing is that like right now I'm sitting here, I do not see part 2 as number 1 best game of all time.
I would put I would actually put Red Dead 2 lower as well, but I know that's a controversial pick.
That's a very controversial pick.
I'd put Minecraft at number 2.
Minecraft.
I'd be fine with
Interesting.
that.
Minecraft number 2. I could see that. I could see that. I have put a lot of hours into number 2.
Dude, Minecraft is like Minecraft changed me. Like Minecraft, I
sure.
feel like Minecraft changed everyone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But yeah,
Like, it's just like it's not even just like a cultural impact, it's like a personal impact. Like I mean, we played so much Minecraft.
Like all we
And
played for
loved
2
every
years, 3
Yeah.
years, maybe
2
even
3
longer,
years
honestly.
straight, essentially,
Yeah,
like,
straight
every
though.
day
Yeah,
playing
like we didn't play
Minecraft.
any other games.
No, it was
Maybe
just
Gmod.
Minecraft.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
still sometimes drop into Minecraft,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
and then just from a longevity perspective and just like I mean, that means it's a fucking good video game if you're still playing it, like, over a decade since it came out.
Mhm, mhm. But yeah, part 2, I don't see it right. Well, I haven't played it. I haven't played it. All I know is
I could
just,
see a
like, the
case of
hype.
part 2 being lower at some point, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I just-
definitely
not
some
yet.
things that could
I
do it,
just
yeah.
I just don't know of a game. I could see it. Well, like I can see there's one game on this list I could see rival. And Jamie, we've talked about it. Is Outer Wilds. I could see Outer Wilds potentially taking.
I was
number
gonna
one
say
spot.
I would put Outer Wilds at number 1, but
I could see Outer Wilds
like
being
I
number one
don't
spot.
I think that's a discussion for another time, to be honest.
Exactly.
You can also see
But yeah.
Minecraft being number 1 too, but
Yeah, true. Minecraft being number 1 slot. I could see that.
but then it's so man, I don't know.
It's very difficult.
I
It's very
cried so hard in part 2. Like, I don't think a game has emotionally affected me more than part 2. Like, I get sad thinking about part 2 in like just when I just think about moments in that game, I'm like, fuck, damn, that really impacted me.
yeah,
Yeah, like the
understandable.
first act is really good, and then the second act, it's like it makes you you do a full 180 on yourself internally, and then the third act is just like this whole fucking
I honestly don't think a story has like I don't think I've ever flip-flopped constantly
yeah.
in terms of like both parties. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like the
It's
argument.
impressive they
that, you
managed
know,
to do that. Yeah.
like
Mhm.
no movie, TV show, book has ever done that to me.
Mhm.
Or I've felt that way. Maybe I need to fucking watch more, but I honestly think part 2 pulled off something that I haven't seen any other narrative do
Being
for
able
me
to play
personally.
as a character for an entire game and then a couple of hours and then somehow have empathy for the person that killed them
It's incredible.
is,
It's
yeah,
insane.
like
It is an incredible
storytelling.
achievement in
Yeah.
storytelling, and
Mhm.
I know, like, we're talking about video games here, and video games are an interactive medium, but I think the impact that Part 2 has is that in being forced to do these acts, it it's more impactful than if you just read them or watched them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because when you're doing them, you are that character and you're internally fucked up for doing them. You know what I mean? But if you're watching a character do it in a movie or TV show, you're like, "Oh, that character's fucked up. Why are they doing that?" But you feel a lot more connected to the character when you're pressing the button,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's where because some people say, "Well, part 2 is just a movie." It's like, yeah, but it's a movie that you're so connected to personally and physically connected to because you've got the controller that it could only I mean, I say it can only work in a video game. It will work as a TV show as well, but I think it'll work more effectively as a video game
Yep.
in that way.
Yep. Mhm.
Um, and when I think about games that, like, for me personally, they've got to have a good story. Like,
Yep.
for the most part, there are some exceptions. Minecraft is a good exception. Breath of the Wild is another good exception. But I think a narrative and characters that I care about and connect to is something that drives a good game to me.
Mhm.
Where I
Mhm.
can deal with a kind of a game that plays badly but has a good story. Like, I think
Yeah.
the Telltale games are a good example of that. Where, like, the gameplay's nothing really, but the Telltale stories for the most part are really good. So
Mhm.
that's why for me personally, Last of Us Part 2 achieves something that no other game on this list does.
Yeah.
I'll stop jerking off this game and we
That's
can
pretty
move
much
on.
why it's there for me as well.
Yeah,
That's why I wanted
I
it
just
there.
that's why it's there at the moment. But who knows?
Mm.
Maybe Starfield will end up at number one. Who knows how that game's gonna turn out?
Surely.
I'm coping so hard because it's on my
Yeah.
fantasy critic. Speaking of our fantasy critic,
Yes.
so obviously we're lowering the amount of time we bring up the fantasy critic just because there's not gonna be as many
Or at
updates
least spend
week to
time on it.
week or
Talk
spend
about
time
it
on it.
often. Yeah.
But since we're ending the first quarter of the year, it might be a good time for a recap.
Mhm.
And so let's check out where we're at, given it is now the 1st of April. So we'll maybe go to the top scores right now. So we'll
Yeah.
see. So it's very close,
It is very
right?
close.
It is extremely close. I can't even read like the numbers because it's blurry for me.
Yeah, I have it on myself. So,
There you go.
Oh, I
basically,
should do that. That's a good idea.
yeah, I have it on myself. So, points
So
actual. Jamie, you're at number 1 with 60.
60, nearly 61,
It's nearly
very
61,
close to 61.
60.98.
With
Yeah.
6
Nathan.
games released.
With
Yeah.
6 games released, that's
Yeah.
important to
Mhm.
note. I do have the
Mhm.
most games released so far.
Yep. Nathan has 49.56 with 4 games released, and
Mhm.
I have 48.04 with 3 games released.
Right. So
Um,
I will most definitely be being overtaken in a bit here.
mhm.
Because essentially, like, for the games coming out, we've got Minecraft Legends, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores, Diablo 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. All those games you guys own. And
Yes.
for those games, Seto, you own 3 of them.
I'm curious.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so and then after that, I've got Redfall, which, who knows where that's gonna go.
And then
It could
it's
end up
just back
being
to
my
being Nathan.
and
It's
then
just
and
back
then
to
exactly, it's back to you guys for the next what is that? 5 releases after that.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna change, it's gonna develop, but
Yeah.
man, I can't.
You
If we go down
dude,
to mine, it's
you
pitiful,
got
dude.
hit hard from
Bro,
Destiny.
I literally got a point 0.7. It's obviously showing 1 there, but it's actually the actual is point 0.7
Mhm.
for Destiny 2 Lightfall. Yeah, man. I don't couldn't have
That was
predicted that.
shocking.
Could
That
not
was
have
yeah.
predicted that.
Bro, I thought it was gonna be like an 82 or something like that, but no, that's insane. That's
So
insane.
just the campaign didn't
I
hit.
I
Yeah.
anti-picked that,
Yeah,
counter-picked, that's what it's called,
Yeah,
and I
you
got
only
negative
lost.
-1 point for it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and actually,
oh,
it's even better than that. You only lost point 0.7
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
which
the
is huge.
actual. So I'm not sure
But
why it's not showing the actuals for you.
but,
Um, but it
uh,
is for me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Resident Evil
It'll
so
do
the
it.
actuals, yeah. Anyway,
Resident
so
Evil
yeah, you
4
didn't lose much
got
at all
you
from that.
huge.
Yeah,
Resident
so
Evil 4
that
got you a
Resident Evil
lot.
4 kept me in the fight, to be honest,
Yeah.
because it gave me yeah, 20.
Fat
What is it?
24.
Was it, yeah, 24?
24
It has
points.
been fluctuating. It was 25 a couple days ago, but
Yeah.
I think it's going
Mhm.
to stay steady at 24.
Yep.
Which is very good result. Happy with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, dude, Atomic Heart and Destiny 2 Life were really fucking letting me down
Yeah,
in
really
my
letting you down.
numbers.
Oh,
Mhm.
74, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
dude,
looking the
I
best.
was scared, bro, because when the reviews first came out, it was at a 65, and I was like,
Actual negative.
yeah, actually
Actual
negative,
negative.
bro. Dude, Destiny might end up being negative. You know,
Yeah,
because
that's
there's
Could
like
no
be.
fall.
reviews for it. Like,
Yeah,
shit,
Yeah.
there's still reviews going down. Like it still
I'm
could
fighting for my
happen.
life out here. Like,
Yeah, you got a
Nathan,
bit
you're doing
unlucky with
well.
that.
Nathan, you're doing well. You're getting consistent. You're getting very
Yeah,
consistent with
it's
your
because
reviews.
I have a lot of safe bets. I really only have like 3 heavy hitters at the top of my list, and
Mhm,
then the rest are pretty much all safe bets, like except for 2 maybe.
mhm.
So mine are gonna be very consistent, but I may not win because of the
because they're all
consistency.
going to be around
They're
the
mid.
10 range, the
Yeah,
five,
Yeah.
yeah.
the
Not mid
8 to
games,
10.
they're mid scoring. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, mid is in like 80 out of
Mid
100.
games.
Mid
Yeah.
for us, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
will
new
say,
on my
like,
list, obviously Forza Horizon.
you
I
do,
got 13 for that.
yeah,
Um, those 2 were already out last time, and Terra Nil got 82,
Yeah,
so
that
12
did
points.
well.
good score.
That did well.
You've got some
Um,
outlaws that could do really well though. Like, I think Liza P has an opportunity to
It
be
does have an opportunity. That's one of my risks. Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
the one I counterpick
could
because it's
be
just a
it could be
risk.
a 70, it could be a 90. Like,
yeah,
who knows? Like,
100%.
Mm,
Mhm.
it's so difficult to,
Yeah,
100%.
and hopefully you get points for Kerbal Space Program too.
yeah, maybe. I don't know if anyone will review
Maybe.
it by the end of the year.
It has
Yeah.
one scored review at the moment and one unscored at
Interesting.
ATM. But I think if they do like a big content update,
What's the
that
score on
could
that?
it has an 8.5 by the
Oh,
scored
okay.
review. And then, but there's not enough reviews to give it a score.
Yeah,
So
of course. Yeah,
um and then I think Assassin's Creed Mirage, the rumor is that it's not coming out this year, but we'll see.
yeah. Oh, sad.
Ubisoft loves to release games that are
Yeah.
unfinished, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you
And
do have massive the top 3 there.
yeah,
I mean, those are 90s.
yeah, for sure.
Mm,
Easy.
mhm,
It's like 60 points right there.
Getting into the double points. Yeah,
mhm.
and Counter Strike 2 is one that I picked up pretty recently.
Yep, you think the contract
Um,
is
Actually,
gonna
I
do
was
pretty well?
curious about what
that should do well.
Counter-Strike Go got, and I was surprised it only got like an 85,
Okay.
It's okay.
which is still,
Yeah,
still obviously
Still
FPS
happy with
game
that.
pretty good
FPS games
points.
and competitive games usually don't get
Sorry,
that
82,
too high.
not 85,
Yeah,
82. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I think this Counter-Strike 2 will score higher though,
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
because I just think 2012 for Counter-Strike was a different time, and I feel like there's a lot more appeal for Counter-Strike now than there was back then.
Yeah,
And I think you'll get a lot of reviewers that actually play Counter-Strike.
yeah.
You get
Mhm.
these games genotypes that don't know how to play a fucking FPS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I spent a good whack of my budget on getting CS2
You did.
Yeah, because I was gonna
because
counter you,
And
but
then
you just
Seto
got over
didn't
me.
even counter bet. He didn't even
No,
try.
I
And,
did it.
he didn't
I
even
did it.
try and go
Okay.
for it. Yeah.
I literally
I got
went
enough
to you.
money.
Yeah, I literally went to you, and as soon as you said, you were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna bet all my money," I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'm not gonna bother." I just
Yeah,
And you
well,
and you
That's the thing is, I only have after that gets removed, I only have 2 more slots, and
Yeah,
exactly.
I just bet $1 on all my games anyway. So
Yeah,
you
I
you
have.
should be able to remove that too now.
yeah,
I
I
fixed
did. It
it.
put a request through to you. You have to accept it.
Oh,
I
where the fuck
think
do I see that?
I don't know.
um.
My pending drops. No,
Yeah. So
open game.
I have 3 good games, and so with my list, I've gone chaotic. I've gone chaotic. I've decided to
Yeah,
get
dude.
both Suicide
I think
Squad
Seto might
and
do a
Dying
legendary
Light.
throw here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with your games review scores. Like, they've done really
Yeah.
well. Your
Yeah,
3
yeah.
have got like 18.8, 16.9,
And
12.3 are
Sons
the
of the
actuals.
Forest has not cannot get it. It might not get it in the end of the year, but right now it's getting like 8s and 9s. So that's also doing very
Yeah,
well.
it's
That's
got
also
3. It's got 3 scored reviews, 8, 9, and 7.
yeah, so that's
So
actually
it's
doing
looking
well.
around the mid 8 range right
Yeah,
now.
and I also do have some stronger games here of Horizon Forbidden West, Jedi Survivors, Hades 2, and so on and so forth. Like I have stronger games, but I decided to go some chaotic routes and get Suicide Squad and Deadeye just for the meme.
Well,
just
I
for
mean,
the
Suicide
content of
Squad,
it.
you might have the saving grace might be the game doesn't
It's not
release
going to
this
come
year.
out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
And
dude, I think there's a chance Deadline 2 could be negative.
no, and
Like,
I'm
it could
ready
just be
for
so
that.
middling that it's getting
Dude,
5 out of 10s,
dude,
and it
I
could just
am
like
ready
drop
for
to like a
that.
60
I'm
or
ready
like
for
a
that.
55 or something.
Because the thing for me is that like when I saw Suicide Squad and I saw Suicide Squad got pushed back, I was like, I need a game on this list
Or
that is going
maybe.
to be
It
yeah,
hasn't
maybe.
actually been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But
But
I honestly think you gotta hope that it doesn't end up like this game that I'm linking in chat now.
yeah, see it. Hold on. What is it?
This came out
Oh no,
last
yeah.
week.
I saw that, yeah. Yeah, crime boss, bro.
Surely this
Holy.
game will not. Surely Dead Island 2 will not be this bad.
Exactly.
Shit.
Will not be a
Exactly.
48. on Open Critic.
I have definitely gone for more of a chaotic route when it comes to like a lot of my games are games that I also were like excited about, like Dead Cells and stuff like that. Like were games that I was excited about and was excited for it to come out. But yeah, I definitely wanted to go more chaotic. So that's why I got Dead Island 2 and Suicide Squad just for the chaos of it.
Bro,
Definitely
I
chaotic.
accidentally have the best counter picks out of all of us.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You do. You do.
Dude, I might get fucked on mine, to be honest. Because I honestly think Risk of Rain Returns could end up being like an 80 something.
Dude, that's gonna do well. No, I'm telling you right now, that's just gonna do well,
Well,
dude.
I'm hoping it gets delayed.
True.
It's yeah, so it's one of my
yeah,
counter picks.
Risk of Rain, yeah.
And Kerbal Space Program 2 might end up being a good one.
If
it may not get
gets
enough
a review,
reviews.
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just hedging my bets on these games getting release dates. Because currently Spider-Man 2, Silk Song, Armored Core 6, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Alan Wake 2, Cyberpunk 2077 all do not have release dates.
Whoa, that's scary.
That is
And
very scary.
Hellblade 2, Plucky Squire both don't have release dates. Mortal
Holy
Kombat 12
shit,
also
dude,
does
that's
not have a
like-
release date.
It's like 60% of your list.
But I think a lot of those are guaranteed coming this year.
Yeah, some of them
Almost
definitely
guaranteed.
will. Yeah.
I don't think Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth will come this year. Alan Wake 2, they recently said that they're on track for release this year. And Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, they're doing a presentation in June for it. And I think it's going to come out soon after that. I don't think they're going to be like, it's coming March 2024.
You're taking
fucking
a high
hope not.
risk, high reward route.
Yeah, it's definitely very high risk.
Yeah.
That's for
Hopefully
sure.
high reward at least.
Hopefully high reward. Well, I
Yeah.
think my top 3 are going to be top 4 are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Top 5 even. I think Final Fantasy 16 is going to fucking kill, honestly. I don't know if you guys have seen much about it, but it's less turn-based strategy and more like Devil May Cry. So it's like real-time combat, and it's by the team that did Final Fantasy 14. So the story's gonna fucking pop off because everyone says the story in Final Fantasy 14 is amazing. So I'm tentatively okay with my list. I gotta say, Atomic Heart and Lightfall definitely hurting a lot. Hurting my chances.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Definitely unfortunate.
Yeah. I've definitely gone for
Destiny dev.
content. I've definitely gone for content.
Yeah, I know. I've learned a lesson. Like, if a live service game has a shitty fucking opening, it's all downhill from there. Like,
It's all downhill.
It's not the end game is not going to save it.
Yeah,
even though
exactly.
it's really good at the end games.
Exactly.
And there is another game I've put a bid on for this week.
Oh, yeah?
But we will see.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I wonder.
It won't get that good, but it's guaranteed points, I reckon. So
I think, and also said we didn't mention it, but Wizard with a Gun you picked up. I think that'll score really well.
Yeah, so Wizard with a Gun. So I picked up Wizard with a Gun, and I also picked up Hyperlight Breaker. Hyperlight Breaker is more something I'm excited about, but I am pretty confident Wizard with a Gun is going to do well. I'm pretty confident in that.
There's another Devolver Digital indie game that I wanted to pick up, but I can't. I'm not going to mention it because I don't want you guys picking it up. It's probably going to give it away because, like, okay,
yeah,
but I actually want you to pick it up.
I think I already bid on that game. So wait,
really?
What I bid on? No. Okay, so there's 2 games I've bidden on, and
you can tell me. I'm not gonna. I mean, Nathan's not gonna outbid you.
Well, I don't know.
I can't bid on anything at the moment.
Oh, shoot, you can't outbid me anymore.
Yeah, just tell him. Tell what the bids are.
So,
well, Nathan obviously can't tell you. His bid,
true. So
you just fucking yoink it.
Yeah, just yoink the bid. So the game that I actually been on was Tekken 8. I went for that one because that has reviewed.
It's not gonna come this year, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to put it on the list just in case.
That's why I didn't choose it. It was actually on my initial list.
Yeah, but I put it on the list just in case because if it does get a release date or something like that, then I have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This one Gunbrella.
Yeah, one's Gunbrella.
Yeah, Gunbrella. Yeah. Dude, I'm so sad I don't have Gunbrella.
Yeah,
I think Gunbrella's gonna kill. Yeah, I think it's gonna
that's on my list. But yeah, I put Tekken on the list. So I put Tekken on the list before I realized that Nathan put all his money on this. I forgot because Nathan put all his money into
you bet like $40 against Tekken 8?
No, I didn't put that much money, but I forgot about it. So I put a decent amount into it.
I mean, you can cancel a bid and then
redo
it.
That then.
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah. Don't forget that I only have one more slot after this week. So that's why I haven't bothered keeping any money.
True, that's a good point.
But there is the chance that some of these will slip and you'll need money to pick up new games.
Yeah, so
but to be fair, you don't have to get every game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like you don't have to get every slot as well.
I've bid $1 on everything. Also, there's only one game on my list that might not get released this year, I think. Because I was going for ones that had dates. I forgot what it was though.
Which one?
Maybe they all will. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the recent one that the rumor is it's being pushed next year. But that
I'm not sure if that had a date.
What?
Telltale game.
Should I put Skull and
Oh, The
Bones on my list?
Expanse? No, I
Yeah.
think that actually has a date.
Okay, cool. That was I think
or
that was the only one.
It has a summer 2023.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That
winter
was
cross.
a risk for me.
Yeah, so that'll come out.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
Gosh,
good.
yeah.
It's by Deck 9.
No,
which is-
no. I meant risk as in it coming out, not it being
Right.
good. I think it'll be good.
Gotcha.
Get
Yeah,
like an
bro.
80ish.
I should put Skull and Bones on my list.
Well, it'll be 0 points, so
Yeah.
don't worry about that.
Alrighty.
Are you guys ready for one more thing?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I can start one more thing this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can start this week.
yeah. You guys have got to grab your shit.
No, I already got mine next week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it a fuck-o-matic?
That's a fuck-o-matic. What? It's my pocket pussy.
Oh no.
No, what do you call it? Yeah, so because as I said, I have nothing around my house apart from Legos that is like as something interesting.
Just
But-
Lego furniture,
Yeah.
Lego plates,
So the
nothing around
only-
your house.
So the only thing, like, I have stuff that's like I have memories with, you know what I mean, but nothing that could be like really cool. Like I don't have any video game memorabilia. So I can start off like one I got are these two little things, right? And so they're two.
What does Nathan have?
What,
Wait, hold on.
Let's see
Wait,
Nathan's
wait
first.
for
You
what?
want to see? You want to go for mine? You want to go for mine first?
Yeah, do yours
Good.
first.
Yeah.
So I got these little bad
Carrying
boys.
it
So
in.
what these are little scorpions. Okay, so
Oh, I don't like those at all.
Yeah,
Oh,
so what I can explain what these are.
Wait, aren't you an arachnophobe?
Yeah, no. But I can explain this shit. Right?
Okay, explain
So,
it.
Yeah, so when I went to Mexico with my family when I was like 8 or some shit, and there was a guy that was on a street vendor on the side, and he was there, and he was actually making these by hand. It only took like 10 minutes to make these, right? And apparently he had some left over. My mom talked to him, and he just gave me these two, and I've just held on them on my desk ever since. And they have like little jewels on them and shit and whatnot.
Sell
and
it.
Wires that
Yeah,
yeah,
something.
yeah, so this guy literally just wired them up and made them together by hand in like 10 minutes. And yeah,
That's
they're
cool.
just small things I have on the side. So I got two of them. This one, like,
Place
has
with black
paint.
tie heroin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he actually used it
smuggle.
to smuggle drugs. He actually used it to smuggle drugs.
Jesus. Yeah, that would be so fucked up. Are you going through like border security and they're like, oh, these scorpions have got drugs in them.
That actually happens. No
Yeah.
joke. Yeah.
Okay, Nathan, what's yours?
Nathan, you got something weird. over
Curious.
this.
This episode is brought to you by my VCR player.
Oh my god,
my
this fucking thing.
God.
Look at it. Oh, it's dusty.
Oh, it's
No one cares about it.
This is the
Dude,
best
that is-
console that I still use every day. No cap.
Oh,
on
you
no
really enjoyed
spec.
that 26 FPS Halo 5 experience, right?
Yeah. So last time I used
Christ.
it, which is pretty much one of the only times I used it, like one of the few times at least, was playing Halo 5 recently when Jamie and I went through all of the Halo games. It was running at less than 30 a lot of the time.
Oh my
Yeah, 26 FPS.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it had a
God.
target of 60, but it
Yeah,
was
not hitting it.
not
not hitting
720p either. I don't even think
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah, man.
And the
Dude, you
reason
know-
I brought it out is because
Yeah.
it's a nice.
Dust?
How do I measure this? Like, here's a phone. Like, it's thick.
It is big.
Yeah,
It is
Like,
huge,
this is
man.
this is a small phone, but
Yeah,
fucking.
it's oh,
look how
God,
big it is.
so
Yeah.
big.
why?
It's because they were scared of the Red Ring of Death
Yeah,
from
yeah.
360.
Mhm.
Don't
Smells
don't huff that.
It smells like something's dead in there.
Oh no! Somebody made a home
Hasn't
inside
even
the
been plugged in.
X-Bone.
Yeah, bro. He's gonna open up. There's like a mouse. There's like a dead
Just
mouse.
tons of
You just hear something crawl on the inside. Like,
yeah, man. That console. You know,
Yeah.
people can play Halo Infinite on that thing.
No shot.
really?
What the
Don't
fuck?
believe that.
Yeah.
I
That's
want to try
insane.
that because I've got. Oh, actually, no, I don't have it. I don't have Game Pass for console.
shame.
Yeah, that's the
I would have
issue.
tried it otherwise.
Yeah,
wanna
so
see
that's
it.
yeah. So my one more thing this week is I watched the Tetris movie last night.
Ah, yes.
Which is on Apple TV Plus if you want to watch it, or you can find it for other.
This dude
means-
just shills TV Plus all the time.
Dude, I fucking love Apple TV Plus, man. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The best streaming service out there, easily. Most consistent shows. Yeah. So Tetris was okay. It's an okay movie. I said this to you, Ben, last night, but it's there's some weird like typical like action movie like have to have drama kind of moments in the movie that just fall flat for me. Where there's like a car chase at the towards the end of the movie where it's like,
Mhm.
we didn't need this. This is like super like video gamer brain fucking moment where it's like we need the gamers to be satiated with their action. They
Mhm.
can't stand to have like a interpersonal drama or anything. It has to be action or thriller or whatever. But before then, it's all pretty cool, and it's a cool story overall. Like the idea that this random American salesman picks up on this game and then buys the rights to it, and then the rights are being, like people. There was this like British company that was lying about having the rights, and then the
Mhm.
Russians were like going to detain the American businessman. It's fucking crazy. Like it's
It's a crazy
nuts.
film.
The
Mhm.
story that happened. I don't know how much of it is actually true. I'm sure some
Yeah.
of it is played out for the movie, but
Mhm.
the general like plot is that's actually what happened, and this is how they got
Mhm.
Tetris on the Game Boy, and not just
Mhm.
on the Game Boy, but packaged in.
Yeah.
Um, it's a cool
It's
story, and it's a cool like little like I guess like fun fact about the Game Boy, and yeah,
Mhm.
I guess I don't remember. I didn't remember because I wasn't born, but I didn't realize
big
popular
Tetris was.
how popular Nintendo was
Oh, yeah.
as a country as a company even at that point.
Mm.
It was
Mhm.
like 1988. So
Mhm.
even just from just the NES was enough to like send them into the stratosphere in terms of popularity, where every kid wanted an NES. And
Yeah.
when the Game Boy got announced, obviously people were fucking stoked for that because they got to take it on the go. With the
Mhm.
it was huge, man. I've never
It
seen
was
a Game Boy like how big it is. It's
yeah,
massive.
this
Yeah,
thing
they're
is like
chunky,
yeah, chunky thing,
really
chunky
Yeah.
thing.
And it's
Um,
just cool. Like even seeing like how the creator of Tetris made Tetris, like he was just like his like hobby essentially,
mhm.
and then
Mhm.
he sent it around the company, and everyone got addicted to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then yeah,
It's,
really cool story, and it's a little bit of gaming trivia for you. Yeah,
I'll quickly say one thing. I was actually gonna have that as my one more thing, but then I thought to myself, like, you know what? 9 times out of 10, James is gonna have it as one more thing because he constantly has these videos of movies as one more
I
thing.
do have movies and TV shows as
So I
my one more
changed it
things.
up
Yeah,
because of that
Mhm.
exact reason.
I had a
You
pretty
were
good guarantee that none of you were gonna bring out your original Xbox One.
yeah, considering mine is probably in the back of an EB game somewhere.
Yeah, same, same. Mine's probably an EB game
Stored back
somewhere.
there. Gave me I
Yeah.
got $35 for it, I think. Bogus.
Ooh,
I know,
that was
I
a good
know.
deal. Wonder how much I get
Yeah.
for it these days. 10
I don't
bucks.
think that even
Yeah, they
no,
may not take it.
recently, they're not even taking them anymore. I saw that
Nope.
recently. EB
Nope.
Games is not
It's
taking the
literally
original PS4 and Xbox One anymore
Yep.
for
worthless.
trade-ins. They're like,
I
"Nah, we do not need this anymore."
I traded my Xbox for a PS4, then my PS4 for PS5. So
Yeah.
big upgrade at the end.
I traded my I traded my Xbox One for a Xbox One X, and then my Xbox One X for a Series X.
Oh, very good. So you just went
I
up the
just gave
list. Just went up
yeah.
the list.
But now I won't have to trade in now because
Yeah,
I needed the extra funds to get both at
true.
launch, so
True. Very
and
good.
now I won't have to worry about that, so
Well, very good. Very good. All right.
well, that's one more thing. Let's wrap up the show.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. This was a good fun episode. I enjoyed this a
Mm,
lot. Good stuff.
mhm.
I think this was actually our longest episode ever.
2 hours and
2 hours
11
Might
11
minutes.
be.
minutes.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the
So
longest. Yeah.
longest episode. A lot of fun though. I enjoyed
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. We actually never
Oh,
say to do that, and I feel like
No.
people
gross. I'm
maybe
cutting
don't
that
even
out.
maybe don't even realize that you can do that.
Jamie's muted
Um,
right now. I can't hear him. He's talking some shit.
And as always, you can follow us on our socials down below. Ben has none.
I
You
have
can
none.
find him
Coming soon,
on a
Will.
hit list.
Surely.
Exactly. Top 10
in a
most wanted. Um,
We'll catch you guys next week for more games and things and stuff. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.